On how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin ultra soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. It's cushion and pink, so our cheeks feel fly. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks. Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. Whether it's the NFL or a rivalry on the hardwood, you will find all the action on Oscar's top-of-the-line audio-video system. With 40 TVs and massive dual projectors, the game has never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
A crossover is
crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover continues to evolve. It's first crossover in 2024. Let me be the first to welcome both of you back. What up? You guys understand how to do this? Josh, you're looking a little like pushing a lot of buttons over there.
Everything's different.
Well, yeah, something's going on.
Left to muck.
I guess something's going on with our legal ID, whatever. All I got to do is say it, I guess. That's why that one guy. True. That's why that one guy came through and he said KOZN, whatever.
At least he gave the right station. We once had a legal ID that was the wrong station.
That's not good.
Station. I think that might be a violation.
Yes, I believe it is.
So the impact that you two have had on my life came up during the break.
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift still together. He just says,
I'm just collecting receipts from both of you. So when the Chiefs avoid being one and done in the postseason,
they're canceled. They're canceled.
I'm gonna be on you guys like white on rice.
Yeah, but
Taylor and Travis are still together. I know
Yeah,
you're disappointed.
they
It's
are.
real.
yeah, Josh,
They're gonna get married.
Just because they're together does not mean it is real.
I've got to see her entrance every
No, you know what?
frickin'
You know what?
day
How I know it's real?
into
I've
whatever
studied
she
don't be
this
does.
mad about this.
I've
Don't be
studied
mad.
this stuff. That it's real because when they are caught kissing, it is not the fake pursed lips. You know,
It's
like
passionate.
like have you ever been caught when you're kissing somebody you don't totally into, and it's like the clenched lips?
Yeah.
They have more
They're
relaxed
kissing hard.
lips.
Is that what you're saying?
No, you're
It's a
definitely right.
bird peck.
Did you see that one time he got out of that car and his face just had her lipstick all over it?
Yeah.
They were
no, they said they found a hickey on his neck.
They were kissing.
Good thing she has no acting.
They
background.
zoomed in like what was
Josh.
it?
Josh, I think you're going to take the L on this one.
What
It's
game?
okay.
What game was it? But they zoomed in, like the camera.
She was wearing his jacket the other day.
Yeah, he had a hickey.
I mean, what stage of a
No,
relationship?
Josh, it's over. Just take the L.
What stage of a relationship do you have to be at for someone to start borrowing your clothes?
Josh, you are like the ref who reported the wrong guy eligible.
Oh, yep.
Just
And
take
you're
responsibility.
explaining it away.
Just admit it. All
Look,
right, it's fine. You
You
can admit
can
you're
admit
wrong.
I
You
talk
can
to
admit
See,
you're
it's
wrong.
2024. We're all before this year is over, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on in this country. We can admit that we're wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll admit flying to Argentina seems like a commitment.
Okay,
but no. Back to my question. What stage? Because all of us have been there. I still, if I ever see this girl in Lincoln, man, Lori Schmidt, we're gonna have some speaks because she took a hat that I really liked.
You're gonna fight her?
Yes. This is like 16 years ago. What's the stage that you reach in a relationship where you're not married, where it's okay if they take some of your clothing home?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care about
Yeah.
clothes.
Oh, when we're done, give it all back.
Yeah,
Be an adult and give it all back.
But if they give, if you're at the, I think I get your question though, because if you are in that awkward moment where you have to ask for it back, you should have been further along in the relationship that you should have given it to begin with. So I think you're beyond the crap or get off the pot.
This young woman
stage.
who I was in a relationship with, not very long, she was. I pulled the rip. Oh, she was.
What was
bad.
that? Crazy. Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait, is this the one who
there
put-
could have been some stalker vibes there.
Is this the one who punched the wall?
No.
Okay.
That was more of a legit relationship. This was
Okay.
just
And
convenience.
she stole a hat from you.
So
it's a hat.
So she
Gary.
left one day.
What kind of
No, it was a great Lincoln Stars hat.
It's a dime a dozen.
But here's the other part. She took a hoodie. She put a hoodie on, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I like that hoodie.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Now, it was rather large on her, but I'm like, no, that's a piece of clothing that I really like. And it left my house not knowing that I'd ever see it again. Guess what? Like 2 weeks later, we broke up. I never got the clothing
We
back.
all need to declutter our lives a little bit.
No.
Here's what's going to
No,
happen.
That's what happens. You can't, as a woman, and you're not like fully committed or, like that's your house. You can't steal another guy's clothes.
Careful.
Here's what's going to happen in the new year. Your significant other is going to come up to you and you're going to say, and she's going to say, hey, what if we got rid of some of your stuff? And your first instinct as a man, as Gary has just explained, will be to say, oh, no, I think I wear that.
Yeah.
No, I wear that.
I think I'm
wear that.
going to wear that.
And here's the real truth. Here's
And
what
you
you
don't.
guys look in the mirror and realize this.
We
You
don't.
don't wear it.
No, we don't.
You wear 6 shirts.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
wear 2 hats.
Hell yeah.
You have 4 pairs of shoes.
Yep.
And that's all you need.
It's true.
It's the principle.
You had 3 pants.
Like
you don't need anything else.
I know.
Get rid of it.
I know I saw a shirt leave my house 2 days ago that I'll never see again, and I like that shirt.
It's gone. Say goodbye. It's hard, but just throw it in the bin.
Your now wife never took clothing from your house, and you were like,
Oh, she definitely wears. Well, I guess we live in the same house now, so it doesn't really matter.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Same bed and everything.
Yeah. The
Good.
whole thing.
Good
Like
job.
I didn't go to Lori Schmidt's house and borrow some of her clothing.
Well, it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
You don't need more.
Point
clothing.
taken.
So
It's okay.
Back to both of you guys. I thought about you a lot because now I was thinking, is this a Happer Show question?
Poll question.
A poll question. Is the limousine still cool?
No.
Oh.
So
No.
Good question.
I
Yeah,
saw
I would
a
guess no.
limousine and I'm like, I have not seen a limousine that wasn't carrying a coffin in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is really, it was like a nice limousine. And when I was younger, like if you got a chance to ride in a limousine or
Yeah.
you knew somebody that was having a limousine pick them up, you're like, man, that's cool.
The shine is worn off.
Now they're
Yeah.
like stretch Hummers.
Yeah,
and
well,
stretch
yeah. Now you want you want the
Cadillacs.
luxury big SUV.
Well, I think we've really
That's
moved
baller.
toward convenience in our world. You know, last time I was in a limousine, I was only in the limousine because it transported more people from point A to point
Yeah.
B.
Was it a party?
It was me arriving in Las Vegas, and I wanted to have the guy at the bottom of the escalator with the sign on my name on it.
Conor Happer.
So guess what? I did. I don't even think it came with the hotel or something like that. We had to pay no more
Well,
money.
you
for
used
it.
to see, I bet once a week, a limousine would drive down Dodge. Like a
Probably,
white stretch limousine.
Yeah, probably coming. Yeah, maybe.
And you'd be like, all right,
I
that's
miss
pretty
limos.
cool. I haven't, up until the other day, I had not seen a limousine in years.
Yeah, part of the excitement of the limo is not knowing what's going on in there.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
see when you see a
Oh,
limo,
yeah.
you're wondering like, "Ooh, what's
Yeah.
going on?
What are they doing in there?
Who's in there?
Yep.
Is there some sort of a is the president in there?
Yeah, like if a limo, if you
Are
were
they
at
drinking?
if you're at a restaurant or a bar and a limo, like the traditional limo came rolling up, I don't think you would be curious of who's getting out of it like you were back then. Now it's
No.
like, but if you see like a black Escalade with tinted windows
Yeah.
rolling up, looks kind of fancy, you're
Now
like,
you're-
all right, someone might be in there.
Now you're wondering.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Yeah, I wonder if the Escalade is like the president's car where it's like
Yeah.
bulletproof. And
Yeah,
it's got like a
exactly.
command center.
Got
on the
reinforcements.
inside.
Even the president wants a true limo anymore.
Yep.
Oh,
Taylor is not transporting a limo. It's usually like a nice SUV with blacked out windows.
I like that. That's a good thought.
And then she golf carts it to the suite.
I'm glad you thought of that. I'm glad you thought of us when you thought of a dumb question in your
I actually
brain.
thought that was a good question.
No, I mean it's like
don't-
like a dumb question. It doesn't matter.
I don't think anybody would. Gosh, would anybody say a limo is like actually still cool? Like an actual traditional limousine.
Still cool, maybe. It's certainly lost its
It's an
luster.
experience, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you want to
man.
do a limo. You want to go in a limo once, at least. You ever driven a limo? I always wondered what it'd be like to drive a limo.
Never driven a limo.
Getting out of a limo is always kind
I
of a
paid
pain.
way too much for a limo at my wedding.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got a limo at the wedding?
Yeah, because I really didn't get to experience, because you know what my experience going from the church to the reception site was? Of us eating. Yeah.
That's it.
And like just like
Sweet.
just coming down from the high of, oh my God, we're in a commitment here.
You're gonna say
And
depression.
and we
It
have,
really hits when you get the limo.
we have 10 minutes before we get to Sanibel Harbor.
Yeah.
Are we really doing this?
Yep.
And then I got the
It's
bill.
not too late.
This is our
And-
life. It's very quiet.
And for the limo company to pick us up at the church and deliver us to the reception,
Yeah.
it was like $200.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? It was like 10 minutes.
You still make a killing on that, man. Oh no. Maybe that's
And
a
the
good business
guy
to get into.
wasn't like super dressed up. If I'm going to pay $200
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
for a limo ride, I want the guy
He's gotta be
head to
Lloyd
toe
Christmas.
in tails.
Yeah.
What if there's like a
Top hat and all.
is this a good investment? Like if I was going to become an Uber driver and I had a limo, like I just had a limo,
Mhm.
and I'd be the only Uber limo in town,
So you could almost bring it back.
and I could like
Bring back the coolness of the limo.
ask more for tips and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're now part of the experience that not a lot of people experience these days, because limos are a little bit more.
I'm
expensive.
the one
there's-
Uber limo
so
guy.
there's Uber X, which is the
Yeah.
nice.
It's just a big car.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm talking limo.
What would a limo be?
Maybe I'd
Uber-
leave you some. I could roll the window up in between the divider.
Yep.
Zzz, you could do whatever you want back there. I don't care.
Or you could have the experience of having the sign. You get out of the car and you just hold the sign.
That's true too.
You know.
Why are you going to the airport?
I think
Flying
everyone
I would
somewhere?
expect more,
See, now that's
higher wages. though.
That's something that would be really cool. That I think is still cool. If you come down the escalator and you've got a sign with your name on
so
it.
good, man.
Oh yeah,
So good.
that's pretty awesome.
You can purchase paparazzi here in Omaha.
Really?
I've
Yep.
heard that
So
where you can
there's
pay
a-
people to come around and
There's
like
a local
follow you and
PR
yeah.
agency that you can hire paparazzi, and they will.
Do you get the pictures?
You get the pictures.
That's good.
But if, like, let's say you're coming in on a flight, they'll go to the airport.
Yeah.
And they will,
Wow.
raise a ruckus. They will take pictures.
That's amazing.
Then people
Okay.
wonder who you are.
Yeah,
Like,
they
oh my
will
gosh,
follow
who is
you,
that?
and they will like pretend like they're asking you questions while they're
Yeah.
filming.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a sham.
It would be kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Just to have, especially the airport, just having one arrival at the airport to your car.
Now, you wanna talk
have
about-
that would be kind of cool.
You want to talk about awesome wastes of money? That's
Yeah.
that's about as
It
good
is.
as it gets.
It is. Because then they have like private jets that were actually like photo studios where you could actually you could get your picture making it look like you are rolling in a
In the
private
PJ.
jet. Yes.
Well,
that's good
Any of
too.
you guys ever
Yeah.
been to LAX?
I have not.
So
no.
LAX, it's a dead giveaway on who the TMZ guys are.
Oh.
And they're aggressive. Like they know if a celebrity on what flight, and they'll follow him to baggage carousel, but they're like in their face.
Yeah.
And it's kind of jarring to see like TMZ up close because they are like front and center and they attack these people.
Yeah.
They're like, cameras are going, they're firing questions. And these people are just trying to, get on with their life.
Yeah.
But
then you know exactly
here in
there's somebody
Omaha,
right there.
How cool would it be to all of a sudden you have paparazzi as you come
so
through
sick.
TSA and you walk up like that little ramp and they're at the top now where people meet people. And all of a sudden you've got cameras there.
Yeah.
And you've got like,
The only time that ever happens is when the army people come home.
Yeah. But then oh my God, welcome back. And then you played up well. You walk right by them. You're going down the escalator.
Then
to
everybody
baggage
else that
claim.
was on your flight that are like following you, like, who the hell was on our flight?
Exactly. Then they're regretting their last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, when did I talk to this guy?
Oh my God, I sat next to the guy. Who is that guy?
Who is that guy?
Who is that guy?
Someone get a picture of him. I got to find out who that is.
But how do you, you have to do everything in your power to not let the other people around you figure out that it is a sham.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes. Because then once they do figure that out, they're like, oh,
then
what a
you're the
loser.
worst person
Yeah,
on
like,
planet
oh my
Earth.
gosh, this guy's or
Right.
girl. A little bit vain.
Maybe we could have TMZ of Omaha. There's enough stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if
You meet
there's
up with
enough.
the mayor at the airport?
Knew that was coming.
Is
you know what?
there
At least you
enough
didn't wait
stuff?
until the January 3rd.
It's
You
like
got
Brian
it
Windhorst.
January 2nd.
Get Omaha paparazzi.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough stuff going on.
Wendy, what do you think about LeBron? Come on.
Who else would we bump into in Omaha?
Wendy, was it a 3?
Where's Nebraska Eddie? He does that stuff.
Oh yeah.
He steals everybody's content.
Nick's
former producer.
I worked with him. Yes. I know the ways of Eddie.
Nice.
Good kid, though.
Yeah, let's get him out there.
He could work for us.
See what I don't think there's enough going on in Omaha.
Okay. All right.
I wish there was. I'm
just looking. I'm helping the job.
Maybe when Berkshire's in
Yeah,
town.
there you go. But you'd have to go to the PJ hangar.
Yeah.
Because they're probably not just taking commercials into Epley.
Yeah, you would not go to Warren's
No,
house.
I think maybe we
where all
might
the
be
people are
underselling.
lined
There
up.
are a lot of celebrities. Like when Sandler was here, you could have found Kevin James,
Yeah, true.
Rob Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other guy? Judd
Nelson.
No,
Apatow.
Apatow
Judd
was with him and did some stand up.
Judd Apatow.
Oh, Judd Apatow was there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Huh.
So
Judd Nelson.
So
Bender.
I was out of town. I wanted to go. I was at a party the other night with a couple of people that were there, and they said he was great. He also sang. So he did the Farley song and some other songs,
Of course.
But those 3 guys were in town, and he brought them up on stage.
Look at
But
that.
Judd did like some stand up.
Nice.
All right.
I love that.
This is a good, because I made this comment. Omaha is a good comedy town. Remember, the Funny Bone is
Yes.
one of those last comedy stores that have still around that are
Yeah.
not in LA or Chicago or New York. But look at any comedian that comes to town. Like Tom Segura is adding shows right and left
I know.
because they're selling out.
Yeah.
How
about that guy from Impractical Jokers?
Yes.
That guy is everywhere.
But
Joe?
But like in this town,
Guy is nuts.
in this town, like comedians draw well. What's her name? Amy Schumer sold out CHI. I went and
Yep.
saw her there. Sandler sold it out. Like we're talking about 14,000 seats.
It's big time.
I mean, Chappelle, whenever he's here, sold out.
Omaha-
Kevin Hart, he was sold out.
Omaha loves a good laugh. Maybe that's what you're saying.
Seinfeld was sold out.
Seinfeld.
Now,
was?
Seinfeld's at the Orpheum, though.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
I saw Aziz Ansari pre-cancellation
Uh-huh.
at the Omaha, whatever the place was in the bottom of the Civic.
Yeah. Sokol?
No, it was like the Omaha Music Hall or something like
yeah,
that. It's it's in the basement of the Civic, whatever.
Okay. How was that?
It was great.
Was it?
He
Okay.
was really funny.
Was he Tom Haverford?
He kind of is.
He was, and then he got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he got canceled.
But
But
I
like,
heard he was really good in stand up.
he was. That was like the one.
Oh, yeah,
I,
he had a Netflix show.
I don't go to many comedy shows, but that was for whatever reason I went to that one and it was good. I liked it. Just sit back, enjoy, laugh, have fun. People around you get a little uncomfortable.
Did they get
Make some
uncomfortable
racist jokes.
after like a comedian gets done with their set and they just kind of drag it out so they start picking on people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets kind of
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
So there's a lot of people to pick out in Omaha.
So it gets real.
I bet that's why they like.
Well, so that's a Chappelle thing.
Yeah.
So Chappelle has his set, and once Chappelle is done with his set, if he likes where the crowd is at,
He starts roasting people.
he'll start picking people out of the crowd.
Perfect.
Little encore action.
Perfect. I love it. It's awesome. I mean, I bet that's why they like coming to Omaha, because there's look at all these fatties. They're like, wow, this is awesome. This is really the Midwest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, good job promoting keeping people here.
I'm just saying, I bet they love coming to the Midwest.
Well, probably
Look
because
at all
people
these
here don't heckle.
fatties.
Let me make fun of you. I'll buy you some cheese curds.
That's funny. That's a good joke. Thank you, Josh. They probably see me in the front row. They're like, look at this fat bald guy. What do you do?
Look at it's the general manager from Culver's, everybody.
See,
that is
it's
actually
so
good. Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
No idea Dave Chappelle knows what a Culver's is.
Or
I mean, I don't know. He does live in small town Ohio.
That's true. That's true.
But I also, like the comedy shows I've been here, we don't heckle.
No.
Unless it's asked
I know.
for.
We're too nice. We're too nice.
There was,
embarrassing.
I feel like Bush Light gets brought up a lot with heckling, or at least the comedian heckling the crowd. There was one, I can't even remember. It was like a mid-level comic. He wasn't very good, or at least not very big. And
Matt Rife.
he was talking. Yeah, definitely.
Report back
Canceled.
Report back on his show here at Steelhouse.
Wasn't good.
Well, a lot of people had to figure out who Matt Rife was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy on my wife's cell phone.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, like, hey, can you get tickets to Matt Rife? I'm like, who the hell's Matt Rife?
I heard the review. Very, very let down on his show.
Oh, really? And the amount of money that it costs to go,
I know,
insane.
Yeah, that guy tricked the whole country.
Now there was this comedian brought up like,
and he
Bush
didn't
Light.
run for president.
He said, like, what is it about Nebraska and Bush Light? Like, you guys realize there's better beers or something like that? I don't know. I'm just again paraphrasing it like his
fair question.
And then somebody that the kid, and I say kid, he had to be like 16 or 17 years old, tried to heckle him. It just like sounded like kind of like a snot-nosed punk. And he's like it's like bad beer or something. Like he goes, that's why you chug it. And then like the guy goes, how old are you? He goes, you shouldn't be drinking it. And he goes,
yeah,
it's because they got underage, dude. And like we weren't really feeling this comic, but then once the kid did that,
then it's everybody against the kid.
And it was on, and we're like, get him, man.
Exactly.
And so then we were all big fans of the comic. Yeah, it was weird.
Would you plant a heckler if you were?
See, and that's why I almost kind of wondered if this guy planted.
I love a plant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you should, especially if it's someone that you know exactly what's coming your way and you know what your rebuttal is going to be.
That's what burner accounts are for. You go out there, you spread the good word about whatever you want. Whatever you want to talk about. Kevin Durant,
you create the narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
By somebody that doesn't have an avatar, and you're thinking, wow, they only got 3 followers.
Yeah, was this guy an egg?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an egg.
What's he talking about?
It's tough now to have burners with lots of followers because you can't buy them.
Yeah, you don't need the followers though. You just got to get your word out.
Yeah, just get it out there and be relentless.
Then you can say people are saying.
Yeah.
Then you could say people are saying.
Yep.
Gary, the Chiefs are canceled, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, no, you have to explain the backstory here because both of you guys hate the Chiefs, and I know
never
not true.
No. Here's how. So I was following you two yahoos on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was coming back from, of all places, Vermilion, South Dakota.
What a place!
I think in the summer it's a nice place.
Go Mavs.
I just think it would be tough in the winter to live there day by day.
I wouldn't want to be in a Dakota.
Tough hang.
Post October.
But I was watching both of you guys because my football team was struggling. Yes, we were down 17-13 at halftime. MVS had dropped another pass.
Yep.
And he was wondering, why didn't he throw it a little lower?
So
where I could catch
you
it.
are
Below
LOL. The Chiefs are canceled after Richie James ran through the end zone on a punt.
He returned a punt from the end zone.
At least Josh goes, with all due respect, the Chiefs aren't very good.
Okay.
So I liked his tweet, but do I need to do old takes exposed and attach you because they won?
They won.
It is painful to watch them try and move the football 10 yards at a time.
It just seems like they all hate each other too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really
They
does.
have more sideline blowups than any contender I've ever seen.
Gary, you have to admit they're a horrible vibes team.
Oh, God.
They're out of sorts because this stuff has never happened to them again.
Mahomes going to burst.
They're either going to be a one
He's
and
gonna
done,
burst.
Explode.
He is.
or they're going to have this weird Super Bowl run. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't see the Super Bowl run coming.
I didn't say which one I was choosing.
Yeah,
It's been tough to watch because they're not like blowing teams out like they have in the past, and it becomes more of a tension convention.
Yeah.
And I think why you guys also are hating the Chiefs is because week after week you have to put up with Nance and Romo doing the game.
yeah, it doesn't help. That's for sure.
Why couldn't they have sent him somewhere else except for Kansas City on New Year's Eve?
Well, I mean, everybody thought it was going to be a great
Yeah,
game.
that was
when
gonna be
Joe
good.
Burrow was around.
Yeah. And he died.
Couldn't flex those guys out.
Yeah, I don't know what there weren't a whole
I'm trying
lot
to
of
think
other
what was
great
the CBS
options.
slate? What else was the CBS slate that day?
It's hard to remember what day anything happened
Yes.
over the last
Great
week.
take.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I don't know.
But does Nance and Romo do anything normal? Like now they're into hugging each other.
They wore the hell out of those Christmas.
Oh yeah, the
sweaters.
Christmas sweaters were.
But then they went for an
the
awkward
CBS
hug
Christmas
the other
sweaters.
day.
Yeah, they're total weirdos.
Yeah.
And you got Romo who is saying that Taylor Swift is married to Travis
Yeah.
Kelce, and he's done it twice.
He's blowing up.
Mhm.
He's blowing up the Swifties on Twitter.
Yep.
About that stuff. Yeah. Not
So-
great. I'm just saying you can't return a punt from the end zone.
I believe that I bookmarked both of those tweets, so I will save them.
We have an epidemic in this country about punt returns.
People are stupid.
We do not know how to return punts anymore.
Are you talking about the end of the?
I'm talking about
the
everybody.
Bama Michigan.
Michigan? Why is he fielding a punt on the 1 yard line with 20
Yeah.
seconds left? What's
When you-
going on?
When you're fading back inside the 5 and you still think it's a good idea when you're
So does it change your opinion about what we saw this past season with Nebraska?
Well,
returners?
No, I'm not giving Nebraska a break. Nebraska's a part of the epidemic.
No, because I think we brought that up one
Part
time.
of the problem.
Where Nebraska, we were focused on Nebraska, but we started talking about not only is it Nebraska, you see it in college football, you see it in the NFL too.
Yeah, everybody sucks at
Yes,
this.
it's just not a skill that's I think either highly taught or what. I don't know. It's just bad all over the place in
What
football.
do you think the tone would be on this radio station today if Texas would have utilized the 1 second they got back and won? Would we be just miserable?
We'd be politicking to get them thrown out of the championship game.
Yep.
Well, that second deserved to be there.
It did.
It did.
Although it was eerily similar. The throw
It did.
out
Yeah.
of bounds in
Yeah.
the sideline.
And all of us immediately thought of that when
No,
that
I
play
saw
happened.
Mac Brown in my head going, "One,
yeah,
one."
But
Oh, there's
think
1
about if
second.
Texas would have won that game.
Yep.
We
What
would have been.
what a total one of the biggest blowups in college football history that would have been by
Yeah, it would have been.
Washington.
Oh, Kellen DeBoer would have been skewered.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he goes from an offensive genius who has paired a great quarterback with these unbelievable wide receivers to you are the worst coach ever, and you just
Yeah.
cost your team.
And everybody
the chance
probably
to win a
would
national
have
championship.
yelled at the injured player too, like, just get off the field.
Yeah.
Don't even show
What's
that you
that
can
rule?
get off the field.
So I think in like the NFL, they'll finally address the fumbling the ball through the end zone.
Yep.
Mhm.
College football has got to do something about the injury.
Well, you
thing.
just wind it. You, like that's
Yeah.
it's really that simple.
As soon as you wind
When
it
the
as
ball's
soon as
set.
the ball exactly
Because an injury
Exactly.
to a running back who may affect you on Monday almost cost you the game.
I
Yes.
know. It's amazing. It McDonough and McElroy, they were like they were totally winding us downhill. They were like, "This is Washington's going to go to the national."
Yeah, as soon as they got the field goal,
And I'm like,
all right.
yeah, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, they still gotta get a first down. There's going to be a punt, whether there's 15 seconds left in the game
Yeah.
or a minute.
No, you're right, because
Like-
it was when they still had to get the first down. The 2 plays prior, they were just talking about how the history of Washington and
Yeah.
playing a national championship. Like you
They're
guys
still
are
gonna
not,
have
you
to
guys are
punt
not
this.
talking about that. They have to convert this
Yeah.
third down.
Something bad could happen.
Yeah.
Something bad did happen. Then they punted, and then the guy interfered.
Yeah.
And then they got more yards. And,
Yep.
I mean, what a mess. That would have been the worst loss. And it would. I mean, I don't know. We went pretty overboard yesterday with what a great weekend of college football. It was the best day of college football ever. But that would have been the worst loss.
Yeah, that would be a change of tone today.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of 2009 memories that we'd probably
It'd be
rehashing
more
too.
about Washington, I think, than it would have been about Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is deserving. So,
Now we get Michigan, Washington.
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun. That's fun.
An interesting game.
I just want to keep watching Michael Penix play football.
Yes. Penix, and then
Look at him sling it.
like what Jesse Mentor did with the way they dialed up defense or blitzes against Alabama. I'm with that with Penix and with that Washington offensive line. Like if they can keep him safe, like that is He could have a big game though too.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. We have a good
Get
national
ready for
championship
the Big
game.
Ten. Big Ten will have a national champion next year.
Yeah, they'll play each other next year.
Yeah.
We'll have a rematch. When's the last time we had a rematch of a national championship game?
That becomes a
Following
conference
year?
game.
That just happened the next year.
LSU,
Did Alabama,
Bama?
Georgia play the following year?
I don't think they did.
You talk about this year?
No, after they played in the final.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
I don't know if they did.
TCU. I don't know.
Did they play in the SEC championship the following year?
I know it's gonna take some time to get used to. Washington, Nebraska, Oregon, Nebraska, UCLA, Nebraska, USC, Nebraska is a Big Ten game.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I'll talk about this later, but like people have, I think it was started by the SEC and everybody's sitting around and they're like, SEC, this conference cheering thing. And it's the disease of conference cheering is spread all across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Big Ten people have been emboldened because they have Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. And it's like, we're conference. It's like, no, the programs are the programs. You hate the programs based on who they are.
Thank you.
Not on which conferences they're
Yeah,
in.
no, I said that's an SEC thing. That does not go to any other conference.
But it's for some reason applying to our country right now. I can't understand it. Why are we rooting for Michigan? Michigan is the axis of evil.
Yeah.
And this year of all years,
Right.
They
Right.
cheated.
Yeah.
They literally should not be playing in this game. They cheated.
Oh, Washington is
But
America's
we do
team
get
now.
one more week of Jim Harbaugh isms,
Which is great. I love Jim Harbaugh.
Like Jesus would have been a 5-star.
What a
And
quote.
He said, "I have." What was the? Oh, he leaned on the staff.
Yes.
But it was not STAFF. What he was alluding to. All of a sudden, he brought Moses and Jesus into the conversation.
Amazing.
And
that's Jim Harbaugh.
And just his transitional lenses are great.
But his interview,
I love seeing him.
Marty
He's
Smith
such a great
interviewed him
old
on
guy.
Game Day.
He
It
is
was
a
really
great old
good.
guy.
Like their interview on Saturday on Game Day with him was pretty funny. And then Marty Smith's sit down was pretty good. Like Harbaugh in small doses is like entertaining and he's quirky. He's just quirky, period.
He's a weird dude.
But I think he means well. I will give him credit of all of the opt-outs and stuff. And, you don't see a ton of loyalty anymore or stability. Man, those guys like playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got something that he connects with those guys that they don't miss a beat. They got all these distractions. They don't miss a beat. And as quirky as he is, and they love him.
Not surprising at all that the whole scandal thing has been a galvanizing experience for Michigan.
2018, Alabama and Georgia faced off in the SEC championship game, which was a rematch of the 2017 national championship game. Played in 2018.
Thank you. Okay, gotcha.
Statman Josh.
So not that long ago.
Wait a minute. So if they played in the why does it matter if they played in 2019? If the national championship game was from the 2017 season.
They played in the 2017 national championship game, which was played in January of 2018.
Yeah.
And then
they played in 2018 again?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they played in 2019.
Sorry. If I did, I misspoke.
It's a confusing. Is this the 2024 Orange Bowl or the 2023 Orange
because
Bowl?
it's the 2023 season.
Like, did Nebraska win the 95 Fiesta Bowl or the 96 Fiesta Bowl?
No, they won the 94
They
Orange
won it
Bowl,
in 1996, but it was the 95.
95 Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
And you go and you buy your bowl shirt and it says 96 Orange Bowl, and they're like, no, man, they won the 95 Orange Bowl. It's confusing.
Yes.
That's why the Super Bowl goes by the Roman numerals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to do that for college football.
Would love that.
Start next year with one
Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
XV1.
Playoff version, volume 12 teams, volume 1.
I miss the bowl shirt. I can't wait for next late fall, early winter when there's bowl shirts back in
what will
stores
it say?
around here.
Would look great in our guaranteed rate bowl shirts.
Yeah. You don't think you'd buy a bowl shirt?
No, I would.
You ever bought a bowl shirt?
No, I've never been to a bowl game.
That's right. You're a little younger.
I've never been to a bowl game in my whole life.
We got to change that.
I know.
It's different.
Think, Connor, this is the year.
2024?
This is the year.
Maybe 2025.
Start making hotel reservations.
Better be the year.
Yeah, they're going to a bowl game this year.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't be afraid. They're going to a bowl game.
That's-
They got Dylan. People forget about that.
If they can't get us 6 wins, come on. I get it. Well, they haven't. Yeah, I know.
And something terrible is happening.
Now, how will the reaction
it's
be
happening.
around here when, for the first time since 16, Nebraska makes a bowl game, which is still hard to believe, and Nash Hutmacher opts out?
Oh, yeah. See, that's the big part of it.
No loyalty. Never liked the kid.
That's a direct reflection on rules.
Especially with the bowl drought. People are like, I thought this meant something to these guys.
That's why I bring up the bowl drought is you're going to have probably some opt-outs.
Sure you will.
And what will be the reaction?
Because that's where I've tried to put myself in the shoes of Nebraska fans with like what happened at Florida State. What like you get like what they have 20? Was it 25 or 29 scholarship players that opted out in the Florida State game?
Let me ask you this, and this is not about specifically one guy. Why is Joe Milton opting out of bowl games?
Hey, he did Tennessee a favor.
Obviously the next guy's
Yeah, he did.
That guy's not going to be picked in the draft. He's not going to get picked in the draft. He's opted out to a game.
He's going to go to the UFL.
Okay? That's an issue with lower level bowl games. Is you got guys that aren't even above a third round grade were opting out. Now that's a problem.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm disinterested.
That's what I'm talking.
I'm done with college.
But in Milton's case, all Tennessee fans are like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for opting out. Because now we get to finally see the future.
Never watch a college football again.
Yep.
Returning in my season tickets.
Yeah, I tried that one time, but when that Joe Milton opted out, that was it for me.
Been in my family for 5 generations.
It is embarrassing, though. Like, why? Come on. We got.
It's so true, though.
I feel like Cheez-It Bowl meant something.
You guys mentioned Christian McCaffrey earlier. When Christian McCaffrey did it, like, that was kind of when the dam broke. And Christian McCaffrey, obviously.
Well, Christian McCaffrey had his bowl moment in the Rose Bowl against Iowa. He didn't need another one.
I guess so. Yeah.
He single-handedly torched Iowa.
They were going to be in the Sun Bowl that year, right?
Yes.
So,
and the difference between the Rose Bowl,
obviously
and the
a high draft pick,
right?
And then it all happened after that, and now we got guys opting out who are going to be like undrafted free agents, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go prepare for the NFL. It's like, okay, great, have fun.
UFL's calling. I got to be ready.
You don't want to play one more important game that
XFL,
means something on television. This will be the last game you ever play on television in your life.
Okay, so how do we feel about guys that opt out but hang out on the sidelines? Because Penn State had a guy, an offensive lineman, who's going to be a top pick.
No.
He actually was in uniform, wasn't going to play.
I'm anti
Jaden Daniels was on the sidelines yesterday.
No.
So if you are not playing,
okay, if you're Jaden Daniels, like what? He's probably going to be. He's a first round pick.
Yes.
Oh, he's a first round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're good with guys that opt out. They can hang out on the sidelines during games.
Yeah, maybe you get the group of guys. I'm not. It's not all in one.
Jaden's an exception.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe you get the group of guys who are going to be invited to the green room on draft night.
Yeah.
You get that same group of guys. They're allowed to be on the sidelines for their team's bowl game. The other ones go to hell.
Well, it's more awkward though with the Western Kentucky quarterback who was allowed to play even though he had declared for the transfer portal, and he had to get used, and he ended up winning the game for them. Like that was insane.
There was a couple of those,
and they said, "Well,
the guys in the portal, he's playing.
We'd like you to come back, but as a tight end."
Well,
so he's like, "Well, I'm going to the transfer portal."
Nothing makes more sense, and maybe it's a sign of how you get guys to play in non-playoff bowl games. And the guy from Minnesota, so he was done.
Yeah,
like his football career was over. He was going to get married, and all of a sudden, they don't have any quarterbacks at Minnesota. They need to go get this guy. They had NIL, I think, basically is paid for his wedding. So that was the agreement. Like the NIL at Minnesota paid for his wedding.
Amazing deal.
So he would come back and play in the bowl game.
Play one football game in the Detroit Bowl, whatever that was.
But is the answer paying players to play in your bowl game?
We shouldn't have to incentivize it as much as we have to, but apparently we do.
But if I'm a bowl and
the gift suite is
because at
not
some
enough.
point, some point, the TV ratings are going to go.
Yeah.
But the quality on the field, I mean, they're all into the TV ratings because it doesn't matter if they have butts and seats. Okay, that's clear. Is if I'm a bowl game and I want, at least a good game, would I be willing to pay players to play in my game?
I think that's the only thing you can do right now. Because remember how cool was the gift suite because you didn't get anything before, at least legally. And so this is your one chance to get like extra perks.
I guess so.
Like if Nash Hutmacher says, yeah, I want to go to Vegas, but I want to dress coach because I want to get ready for the NFL. What if the Vegas Bowl steps up next year and says, hey, Nash, here's $25K to play?
Yeah.
Are you asking from the perspective of the bowl game? Like, should you pay the money to do this?
I mean, don't you think if people are pissed?
Yeah, if you want to
they have
make
this
the bowl
prestigious game. They have
Yeah.
Walk on the Moon or whatever that group was at halftime. That was an abomination.
Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance?
Yes.
Shut
They're
up
at halftime.
and dance with me.
They should bring back the stuff. I mean, the Orange Bowl used to have like this incredible halftime show.
Yeah.
Now they don't.
That was
Mark
bad.
Mangino to wear the orange
Obi,
outfit.
hang out with Obi.
You don't think the people that run the Orange Bowl are like ticked off?
Oh, dude. I'm ticked off.
We're volunteers. We do all this stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a big buildup, and you guys don't take our bowl seriously?
And their game's at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing you can do. I don't even know if it'll work, but yeah, financially incentivize bowl games because
I just think it's embarrassing. Why are we why?
It is.
Has
but,
anybody ever stopped to wonder why are we doing this?
But opt-outs have become far too common now with NIL, now with transfer portal, all those different things. And the fact that you can make money off your name, image, likeness, as opposed to, oh, it's cool. I can't wait to get the Best Buy gift suite. It's going to be awesome.
But who's getting in these guys' ears? So what real football player who is not going to be a first round NFL draft pick but has a professional football future thinks to themselves, I would rather not play in this game and go work out on my own with my personal trainer and prepare myself for the NFL rather than play in this game and spend the 2 weeks or 3 weeks of preparation getting ready for one last game with my best college friends. Like, who is telling them that this is a good idea? Who is?
Well, it doesn't. It's clear it doesn't affect them when they get to the draft because guys that have opted out,
right?
Yeah, it's
the
not
NFL doesn't care.
The NFL doesn't care.
Yeah, they're like, we've seen enough tape. You're good. You're going to play in our league, and you'll never opt out because we're paying you. See, that's what college football has become NFL light without the cost of labor.
Right. So who's telling them it's a good idea? Like who's saying this? I don't know. We need to find these people.
They're just throwing the whole, well, if you get injured, you can get injured.
Playing the football game.
Your car.
You know what helps your draft stock? Playing in football.
What if Jaden Daniels opted out of a regular season game against Southeast Louisiana?
Yeah, we're probably not that far away from that.
Oh, interesting.
What's the difference between that and a bowl game?
Yeah, like, hey, I don't need to break my leg playing the Citadel this week.
Yes.
I will.
I'm going to take this one off.
We got Tennessee. We got Bama next week.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one off and be fully rested and preserving my body. I've taken some shots this year.
The playoff expanding will correct some of this, but then you're going to have people opting out of like the Alamo Bowl.
Would we ever know? But would we ever know if they're like opting
care.
out of the game as opposed to, you know what? Jaden Daniels came down with like a real bad stomach bug.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Why don't we just opt out of college?
Ooh.
Why doesn't Dylan Raiola just skip college?
No.
Play in the UFL?
Yeah, in 2 years. He'll just sit around for a couple years with his quarterback coach, the one guy that everyone wants to hire, and then he gets drafted in 2 years, 3 years. I think that's a great idea.
Might hurt his draft stock.
No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Dumb. Just like everything.
Are you setting this conversation up for next year when Nebraska makes a bowl and has some opt-outs? You're saving this rage, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be mad about it. It's just people are going to opt out and
Bryce Benhart, Nash Hutmacher don't play. Isaac Gifford doesn't play.
I mean this.
Ty Robinson's like, I always wanted to go to a bowl game, but you know what?
This is from my heart.
NFL is a reality. I got to opt out.
Like
boys.
I'm not doing this for my enjoyment. I'm not telling you this for my enjoyment. Like I want to watch you play in the game and I want to watch Nebraska win and all this stuff. But like, what good does it do for you, the football player, if you are opting out of this bowl game?
It's just running less
None.
risk of injury.
It doesn't.
And that is that's a fair question. And when you're the commissioner of college football, you can address that.
Thank you.
Because they do need a commissioner of college football, which I think they're going to have. That will supersede the conference commissioners, and then big boy football will break away from the NCAA.
Opt-in is mandatory.
I'm going to start opting out of shows.
like today,
like a Tuesday in May just doesn't feel worth my time.
That's pretty good.
You know that
we got to get ready for the big ones.
If you ever have to do a holiday show,
plays UConn
if you ever do a holiday show, that's like a bowl game. You're like, nah, I'm opting out of that.
No, thank you.
You got a big basketball game coming up.
We'll do this on a later crossover. The worst days to be doing sports talk radio.
Oh, we got options.
Yeah.
I'm sure this dais can think of some dates.
Yes.
Some times.
Like
of
the
year.
worst the top 5 worst dates to be doing sports talk radio in Nebraska.
See, I
and they can't all be the week
July.
of the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Yeah. I like
That's
anything in the
though.
summer.
I like July because we can do whatever we want.
That is true.
I like the days where there's some, there's some emotion coming in. Something bad happens, something good.
I will tell you
Yeah,
one of
but
the
you
worst
just never know when
stretches
that's going to be.
is once fall camp starts for football.
Yes.
The first 2 weeks you're excited. You got all kinds of storylines. Like that third week is a drag.
Yes.
Because
like,
now you're 2 weeks out from a game and there's nothing new going on.
No. Everything's
could
really
be a
on the
rough
lock
week.
and key at that point.
That's a bad one.
And you're tired of going, well, if everybody stays healthy, I think this team can.
I don't think they can win 6.
Let's take a look at that UTEP game again.
Your win-loss predictions.
Yeah. Are you sure they're going to win at Purdue? And that little stretch
Let's
at
get
Purdue,
a-
home
let's get a
against
U-
Northwestern.
Is it too early to get a UTEP expert on? Let's get him on. Let's preview that game right now.
Oh, yeah. Remember that guy from Georgia Southern a couple of years ago?
Oh, yeah. That guy was great. Their play-by-play guy.
He was on every show 4 times.
Because he was a Nebraska fan.
Yeah.
Him and Louis Vicar.
Louis!
Anything Northwestern related, Louis.
Are we talking to Louis at any point in the next couple of weeks? We got to talk some football.
You know,
with him.
actually, the good news for Louis is when the whole hazing scandal broke out, at least he got to take a break from that because a lot of people were going after Dan Murphy.
Yeah.
of ESPN. Because he was actually, like, once you find out someone else was covered at least nationally, then you could invite them on. And Louis didn't have to answer those questions.
We, probably 5-6 years ago, we had Louis on in a non-Northwestern football or basketball season.
What?
And he asked Shane, he goes, is there something up?
So I just want to talk Northwestern football.
Yeah, you know what? We want to get I know it's the first part of June, but we like break down all 133 Division I teams.
It's something
People want Louis.
Have you not heard of the College World Series?
Yeah. We're just sitting outside the College World Series.
Hey,
It's not Northwestern.
Louis, we've gotten to page 52 of Phil Steele's magazine. It says Northwestern. You want to come on?
Is something up? I love that. It's so great, though, because
Tell Louis nothing's going on.
He always
Somebody
he always expects it. Like he's always, I swear, he's waiting for that text. Like 2 weeks out, usually like in the spring, if you want to do the spring previews, and maybe you're killing some time in the summer, you're doing like a little summer preview, and then of course game week. He knows he's going to get at least 4.
Yeah, he's ready,
if not more.
You're right.
From Nebraska.
He's built different.
Does everybody else, like in the Big Ten, when they want to talk Northwestern?
Did I point him out to you in Indy?
Assume so.
He's a little fella.
I don't think I've ever met Louis face to face.
He's a little tiny guy.
I've met Louis. Louis
So
is
what?
yeah. Louis a little guy.
What's wrong with a little tiny guy?
You would not. If you've interviewed Louis, you've heard him on air.
Yeah.
The voice does not go with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people think that with me. They probably think I'm better looking.
I always get you sound much taller on the radio,
Exactly.
which I always think is very odd.
Yeah.
I talk like a tall man.
What do tall people sound like?
You gotta like sound like Kalkbrenner?
No, I don't sound like
Do all tall people have a deep voice?
Most.
No.
Yeah, most.
Yeah, I've never seen a like tall person that's like, hey.
I do know one guy who is really tall and he has a very high voice.
Really?
Like it's totally oppo.
Really?
What's his name?
His name's Frank.
I'd like to meet Frank.
Is that a made up name?
No, it's a real name.
Okay, good. Because that was
Frank.
a quick pivot too.
No, his name
Frank.
His name's Frank.
Frank. Okay.
Yeah.
Frank sounds like a tall person name.
Frank's a great guy. I love Frank, but he's got he's very tall, like very tall.
Yeah.
Very high voice.
Wow. I can honestly say I've never met a tall, like
there's some sort of an
6'3"
anomaly
plus.
there.
Yeah.
All right, you want a deep voice?
Yeah,
you're short and fat or you're tall.
What do we consider tall?
I was going like 6'3" plus.
Okay. He was above that. He's probably close to 7
I'm going
foot.
tall like 6'6".
Yeah.
Remember, I hang out with a basketball team that
Wow.
when
Okay.
we go to places, like we walked into this place in South Dakota for dinner the other night.
Brag.
And they're tall.
Jordan.
I mean, we got 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guy. It always blows me away that people just stare.
Yeah. Whoa.
They just stare
They're like,
at
"What
these
are
guys
these
walking
people?"
by.
How did you all
Yeah.
find each other?
Why are they all wearing the same jumpsuit?
Well, there's certain people
they're
you can't
vast.
stare at.
They
but
must
you can
be
stare at tall people.
They
and
must
nobody-
be a team
like, it's
of
fine.
some sort.
Yeah.
Like the whole place just comes to a halt.
Yeah.
And they just stare at these tall young men walking through their establishment.
You got to stare at the tall guys.
At least we did not get this time. What sport do you guys play?
Yeah, didn't they get confused with the hockey team?
Yeah, we got on a plane like last year, and this lady's like, "Oh, Omaha, you guys play hockey?"
Do you watch sports?
As as a 6'11" guy walked by, ducking his head on the plane. No, ma'am, basketball. That makes sense.
This guy's our number one defenseman.
We got one, excuse me, tall guy, high voice, Karl Anthony Towns. Thank you, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. He doesn't talk much.
That's probably good.
I've talked a lot, man. The Timberwolves are
kind of good.
1 seed.
Hey,
whatever.
We're going to June. We'll be June up at the Target Center.
We'll be June up at the Target
Center.
Center.
The Bucks
in the finals.
Minnesota and Milwaukee in the finals.
Midwest Final.
Oh, sponsored by Culver's.
All the comedians can come around and say, "Fatties, look at all these."
A lot of grain belt. Oh, it'd be amazing.
The next comedian we get on this radio station, that's the first question. Are there a lot of fatties in Omaha? Is that why you like coming here?
You scan the audience.
Oh, but then they'll appeal to the people listening and go, I mean, yeah, it's not Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's not Iowa.
Yeah, it's not Iowa.
You should have seen what I just came from over in Des Moines. They did a 2-night set.
Exactly.
Yep. They're smart. They know. They're not going to be candid on that.
They'll work the room.
Yeah, they're going to sell some tickets.
I love coming to Omaha.
I'm going to get a comedian.
So many fatties. All right, thanks. See ya. That's Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. Thanks to Everlevel, back for 2024. Everlevelconcrete.com, back and start things off next.
That's the Crossover. The Conor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
It doesn't seem like any of us are supper people in here.
I was a supper person.
I was
for a
too,
long
and I
time.
moved away from it.
I hate supper.
People who call dinner supper call lunch dinner, and these people trigger me.
Dinner is only lunch on weekend, on like a Sunday. My grandmother would call supper a snack between lunch and dinner, and then sometimes dinner would be dinner, but dinner wouldn't be dinner. I didn't understand these etiquettes.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A bit more mild on Tuesday. Expect partly sunny skies with a west to northwest breeze, gusts around 10 to 15 miles per hour most of the day. Highs in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Darian. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more Da Vinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's the Conor Happer Show with Conor Happer and Josh Otson. Let's get ready to rumble.
Licensing of the phrase "let's get ready to rumble" just over the last 7+ years internationally is grossed approximately close to $400 million in retail sales.
Really?
You guys look like, what do they look like, Jimmy?
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
On 1620, The Zone.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tough to tell over these last 10 or so days which day of the week it was, but we were on our own time. But now we're back on yours. Welcome in to the 2024 edition of the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. New year, same us. Conor Happer, Josh Odson with you. I did get a new thermos though for my coffee.
Oh wow!
So I'm all freaking out.
Congratulations! I'm happy for you.
We got a text I always remember this text or comment that we got in last year. Is Conor back on the coffee? Conor's back on the coffee. 1 day of work, 2024. 1 day of coffee. So here we are. We missed you all as well. We have many takes that we had to just eat or tweet. There was two options on takes over this last week. It was eat or tweet, and some of them were eaten, and some of them were tweeting, and they didn't go well. Because when you got to hear from people on Twitter, and they don't know you, they don't know where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
They just see it, and they're like, "Here's these words. Let's attack this guy."
They don't know your tone.
It gets a little difficult.
Sure.
And so I'm happy to be around the people that we know and love in our little community that we have here, including those of you who have decided to watch along with us on 1620thezone.com or on YouTube, 1620thezone TV. You can always leave a comment there like Yippee does. Very happy you guys are back. I was very sad and depressed last week. You guys have made me happy with your triumphant returns. Well, shout out to us, Josh. No more depression. We are back, and we are never leaving.
We are J.J. McCarthy sitting up against the goalpost.
Now, I would imagine the over-under on Josh's kid getting sick in the next 4 weeks is a half. That's happening.
Even money right now.
So we're ready for it.
Avoided the first couple rounds.
Impressive.
At daycare.
Impressive. But it's happening. It's hashtag Josh's kid is sickism.
Mm-hmm. Save up them days.
So that'll be happening. That'll be happening at some points. But we are ready for it. We are ready for 2024. NFL playoffs right around the corner. We had the best day ever of college football yesterday. It was so great, but it doesn't have to be the best day ever. People forget when people are, everybody's doing that. Oh, great. We had finally 2 awesome semifinal games to send us into the 12-team playoff. What a great, great thing. We also had 2 great semifinal games last year.
Thank you.
1 year ago. We forget about things. Our brains get erased after 3 days.
Remember when the ball dropped and Ohio State won or lost at the exact same time?
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, they missed the field goal. They lost.
That's right.
Because then Georgia went to the national championship game against TCU, who beat Michigan. People forget about that. And wrecked them 65-7. Yeah, that all happened. We'll go through we'll lay to rest the 4-team college football playoff era during the show today. I have some questions to ask you all. We'll have reactions to the games from yesterday. And we'll jump in every now and again, just when we need a segment or something like that. Takes from the break. I'm
excited for this.
These are things that I've just kind of compiled in my head throughout the break that probably didn't have anything to do with yesterday.
Little running log of
just some things. Maybe it was from Christmas Eve. Maybe it was from, maybe it was from 8 days ago. Who knows? But here we are. All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to 2024. You can tweet at us at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Conor Happer there as well. Email Conor at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Josh O at 1620thezone.com there as well. And also call or text 402-951-1620. The 42 Degrees, the Source hotline by your mom's house is open for you. Basketball this evening. Hashtag respect Ed Cooley. Josh, did you even know about this? That's right.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he's Georgetown's
Creighton's
coach.
playing Georgetown tonight.
I knew he left Providence.
And guess what? For all you people bitching about the late kickoff last night, we got 6 p.m. tip between Creighton and G-Town tonight. Hashtag respect Ed Cooley.
See, now they're just going to bitch that unsportsmanlike conduct gets cut short.
Well, that's true. There's always something to complain about. But you get shoot around. So that's fine as well.
Nice little pregame at 5:30.
Listen with us, 1620thezone.com. John Bishop is scaring people on Twitter, making people think he's retiring.
It's too long to read. I needed someone to tell me.
He told this. He sent me this John Deere letter.
Anymore.
I don't know. Something about me never listening. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. But I don't know. I thought John was retiring or dead or something like that. But he's fine. He's going to be calling the game tonight in DC. So we got basketball tonight. We had basketball over the weekend. We had basketball this week as well. All right, here we go. NFL reaction, overreaction coming up on the show today. Allan Bell will join in a half hour. That's happening, by the way. Yes, Allan Bell will join the show. We'll talk some NFL with him. Jacob Bigelow on some basketball sickos happenings over the last 10 days.
Yeah, what happened there?
Many things. Kenny Payne getting fired. Not one of them, though.
FAU beat Arizona?
FAU's good. Florida Atlantic.
Yes, I'm sorry. No longer FA. The artist formerly known as FAU. My apologies.
That is the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Let's dive into some things that I saw. Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. Ask some questions. Why are these things happening? What's going on? Many things that tend to happen in a college football game. I'm like, why? What's going on? We'll discuss the semifinal games when we return on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
There's, there to be, beginning, there's help us. They're, being there.
This is Nikki Haley. Look, I'll just say it. Biden's too old. And Congress is the most exclusive nursing home in America. Washington keeps failing because politicians from yesterday can't lead us into tomorrow.
Nikki Haley, a new generation of conservative leadership.
We need term limits, mental competency tests for politicians over 75, and a real plan to defeat China and restore our economy. I've long said Biden's not going to make it. And a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Kamala Harris. Republicans need to leave behind the chaos and drama of the past with a new generation and a new conservative president. I'm Nikki Haley, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Nikki Haley for president.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Outdoor Nebraska update. It's hunting time in the Husker State. For a safe season, remember to be totally certain of your target and your background before you fire that shot. In a moment, ask yourself, is the bullet flight path clear? Is that a legitimate target? And what am I going to hit if I miss my shot? Please be careful out there. If you'd like more information on hunting safety, go to outdoornebraska.gov. That's outdoornebraska.gov. From wildfowl to owls. Great time of year to step outside and watch wildlife. Many animals are still active, plus the leaves have mostly fallen, vegetation is set back, and we'll have some warmer weather. Maybe you'll hike a state park trail or head to a public reservoir to do that. Oh, and don't forget your camera. Oh, it's on your phone. That's right. I'm Greg Wagner.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
ESPN apologized Monday night for a video clip of a woman bearing her breast that was shown during the broadcast of the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
Hey, let's just do a live shot on Bourbon Street. What could go wrong?
It was aired coming out of a commercial during the second half of Washington's 37-31 win over Texas. A clip of people wandering on Bourbon Street in New Orleans showed a woman pulling down her top to expose her breast. Quote, "We regret that this happened and apologize that the video aired in the telecast," ESPN's Bill Hoffheimer said in a statement to the Associated Press.
Amazing.
What a sport. We love college football.
That woman scored more than Iowa yesterday.
She's just trying to get her beads, man. That's all. You could see it very clearly. She was looking up to one of the balconies up there. She wanted some beads. She was like, "Here, let me pop one out real quick."
Boom.
I bet she got her beads.
I'll bet she did.
Those are the
And then
rules.
her phone started blowing up.
Yes, like you were just on ESPN. You and some other things. What incredible timing. Just to roll that camera down the street live.
What a horrible executive decision.
Yes. I mean, first of all, yes, of course. But like, still, your chances, if they were on that shot, Josh, for no more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think that is representative of if you are walking down the street, if you were walking down Bourbon Street, how many boobs you're going to see. I don't think that's representative. At least not in my experience on Bourbon Street.
But it
not one every 5 seconds.
In that 5 seconds, it was enough time to see her looking up, consider it, get one out and put it back in.
A lot happened during that time. Yes, ESPN has apologized, so we could all stop yelling. Or if anybody's mad at, that. It's funny more than anything. Just like it is when people say the F word on TV on accident.
Yep, let it be funny.
It's funny. Speaking of it being funny and on television, let's go back to the beginning of the day where College Game Day originated from the Rose Bowl. The sun was rising on the San Gabriel Mountains.
Oh, wow.
It later set behind them. Going into a little, we have a few of our College Game Day people up at the desk. Reese Davis is anchoring. He's got Desmond Howard on his right. He's got Pat McAfee on his left. He's got Joey Galloway. He's got Kirk Herbstreit. They're all there. They're having a good time. They've been previously distracted by a B-52 bomber that just flew. Whoa, what's that? It's a fun show. Moves fast. They're about to send it into a piece about Jalen Milroe. And here is what happened after that.
Jalen Milroe often wears his own branded apparel reading LANK across the front. It's an acronym that stands for Let a Naysayer Know. Being told by his former offensive coordinator,
That
Bill
is
O'Brien.
not what I thought.
Is that not what you thought?
Boy, let a naysayer know.
Let a naysayer know.
Of course.
The professional's right in the middle of his lead. That's all right. I just keep going.
You almost lost me again. It got real tight up here as you were. I just want you to know.
Reese, you were too slow with that. I thought it was going down. It was going down out here.
Oh, sorry about it. Let a naysayer know.
All right. So you just heard Joey Galloway's single greatest contribution to ESPN.
Yep. There is no number 2.
That's it. Him
can't remember anything else he's done.
Him laughing, crying, he had to get out tissues because he was crying, laughing, and saying, I thought it was about to go down.
Joey and Desmond really saved Pat's butt.
They really did. They really did.
It could have taken a different turn.
Great job by all parties. Let a naysayer know. I think he was asked a couple different times about the phrase lank. And, they tried to play it off as let a naysayer know. Now, the question is, did they really think that the phrase was let a naysayer know, or were they just like going with it, or were they just going with the idea that all right, we're going to go along with this lie that it's let a naysayer know, or is it actually let a naysayer know? Cause that'd be stupid. It's definitely not as cool, right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I just like the way that ESPN played it.
I don't know how to explore that either.
Yeah, we don't have to dive into it too much, I guess. Not for us, Josh.
Nope.
Not for us. I appreciate Pat McAfee stopping it there, just like he did when everybody got distracted by the B-52 bomber. I like that. I like a little ADHD show.
He's good on that show.
Yeah, that's good. 2024, we got a dumbass punt return epidemic in college football, where Michigan almost tried to blow it before going into overtime yesterday against Alabama. Great college football game, great setting. We love the Rose Bowl. Obviously, like, I know people wax poetic about the Rose Bowl, and then people get sick of it on the other side. They're like, well, what do you learn? Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's pure, right? It's college sports. We saw the transcript was going around last night from Nick Saban, and he was asked, hey, his first question after he had it
first
horrible, devastating loss at the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff. The first question was, hey, what did you think about playing in the Rose Bowl? The beauty and the pageantry of the Rose Bowl.
Did both teams have fun today, Nick?
That's just how it goes, man. It's the Rose Bowl. It's like it's 1960. All right. It's just the Rose Bowl. We play it at the same time every year. Usually it's the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Those conferences don't exist in the same way they used to. Excuse me. It's a playoff game now, in some years, in some years it's not. People opting out of it, whatever it might be. It's a little different. We'll get to the whole bowl structure in a little bit. But I do love the Rose Bowl. I'm a sucker for it. Maybe it's the Big Ten in me. I've adjusted to this thinking over the last, since Nebraska's been in the conference. But I do think there's something very special about the Rose Bowl. Anyway, in that game, I thought just overall Michigan was the better team. I thought they were better up front. I think they were slightly better on the perimeter. That catch by Wilson, I mean, off the tip ball, and then the run by Corum in overtime. Oh, how about Michigan having incredible running backs every single year? It's Corum, and he's been there for 3 now, and they have Donovan Edwards, and he's been banged up a little bit, but he's shown some explosiveness. Before that, it was Hassan Haskins and Corum. I mean, those guys are really, really good. So if you want to tie it in with Nebraska somehow, because I know we love doing that. You heard Matt Rule talking about how much they want to be like Michigan and how the way that they do things. If they can get running backs like Michigan has gotten running backs over the last, since Jim Harbaugh's been there, you're trending in the right direction. Those running backs are so good. Core making that cut on the run in overtime, and then showing the finishing as well, getting there. That was fantastic. So I thought they were better in pretty much every category. Like they were better up front. They were probably slightly better on the perimeter. And I thought Michigan, had the better quarterback in that game too.
Yeah. McCarthy played better than Milroe.
Obviously, they were Alabama was doing some things with Milroe. They were basically just running him. But I thought they're pretty completely better. With that being said, they tried to blow it. They were controlling that thing and they tried to blow it. And they almost really blew it at the end of regulation. And then when they got to overtime, we figured, okay, I think the better team is going to win here. Alabama got it down, 4th and goal in overtime. What do you think about the play call? I'm fine with the play call. That's what I thought they were going to do. Quarterback lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've been doing basically the entire game. Just drive them into the pile a little bit. I don't know if that was exclusively your intent, but like they show back on the replay and, he probably should have sliced it outside a little bit. I didn't mind the play call. That's for all people were talking about, texting into the shows like, well, what'd you think about that play call? Or I wouldn't want to be in Alabama talking about that play call today. That's fine with the play call.
Yeah, I'm fine with the play call.
They were worse than Michigan up front. They got beat up front.
The snapping was the issue.
Snap was low.
Yeah.
Right?
As it had been for most of the day.
Alabama's just a worse team than Michigan was, I thought. I don't think that highly of Michigan. I don't think, when you compare them year over year to some of the national championship teams that we've seen, like they're obviously not as good as Georgia was last year. Hell, they might not even be as good as Georgia is this year, right? But that doesn't matter anymore.
There was a little stretch like late third quarter, early fourth quarter where the game was kind of turning. Looked like Alabama might have figured it out. And then they didn't. Michigan just kept leaning on them, kept stuffing it, and found the outside passing lanes.
Yeah, Michigan does this thing where they get infatuated with one thing for a period of time. Like, Jim Harbaugh comes out in the first couple of series when it looks like Michigan's super wobbly, and they just start throwing it. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and it resulted in the pick, which should have been a pick, on the sideline, but the guy who intercepted it was just barely, his heel was out of bounds before he jumped and caught the football. Stupid instant replay. But like they kind of play with their food a little bit. They have a tendency to do that. But overall, they were just a better team than Alabama was, and they'll be in the national championship game where I think we'll have a great game with Texas and Washington, where Washington decided to, have control of that game and then almost crap it down their leg. I mean, that would have been an all-timer. That would have been an all-time.
Washington?
Yeah. I know we get a little carried away with the all-time, this and that, whatever. That would have been an all-timer.
Imagine if that Miami thing from earlier this year happened in a college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't blame them for not taking a knee, because you knew that it was going to take you 4 downs anyway, and you were probably, the end result was going to have to punt. You were going to have to punt it. But you do run the risk of a guy getting hurt. And of course, he got hurt on the worst possible play and allowed them to punt they had to punt the ball back because the clock rule is stupid and they had to freeze the clock at 45 and punt it back. And then they get a penalty on the punt. They kick catch interference, and then Texas kind of just makes their way down the field without any timeouts. They do a nice job of managing the clock. And you thought, oh my God, they're at like the 10-yard line. They're going to win this thing. And then the Washington defensive back just made a really good play at the end. But those are, we've had a great, we had a great playoff. We had 2 great playoff semifinals, and I think we're going to get a really good national championship game, but I don't think we need to go overboard with like, oh, this is why this and this happened. It's like, yeah, we have good football games all of the time. We had 2 good football semifinal games last year. Like, we don't have to do the big picture. Oh man, see, North football can really play, and all that stuff. We'll go through it. You know what? We could just go through it right now. Like, if you go through what happened in the 4-team playoff era, I think there was probably a slight. If you looked at the SEC, Georgia and Alabama specifically, like being on top of this thing, there's been a slight, like, oh, Ohio State and Michigan. Obviously, the reemergence of Michigan. This is like post when the college football playoff started. The reemergence of Michigan under Harbaugh as a national title contender over the last couple of years has certainly evened things out a little bit for the North. Like if you're looking at it North versus South.
Okay, sure.
But no, I mean, just because we're getting an all North title game doesn't mean that like the SEC is dead or anything like that. It doesn't, like, we don't have to do the conference cheering thing either. We had 20 semifinal games, right? So 10 versions of the 14 playoff, 20 semifinal games. 13 out of the 20 were decided by 2 touchdowns or more. None of those games happened in the last 2 playoffs. Teams who got blown out: 2014 Florida State, 2015 Oklahoma, 2015 Michigan State, 2016 Washington, 2016 Ohio State, 2017 Clemson, 2018 Notre Dame, 2019 Oklahoma, 2020 Notre Dame, 2020 Clemson, 2021 Cincinnati, 2021 Michigan. I mean, it's a good smattering of just about everything around the country, right? It's obviously there's no Alabama and there's no Georgia on that list. Alabama made the playoff 8 out of 10 times. They won 3 national championships. And I think most importantly, all 5 Power 5 leagues played for a national championship at least once. In the 10-team playoff, it's a good sample size, right? Over 10 years, all 5 Power 5 leagues played for a national championship at least once. Pac-12 will be playing for their second on 6 days from now. And, the Big Ten's playing for however many. I know the Pac-12 doesn't. I know Big Ten's going to try and take credit for this or whatever. Or Big Ten fans now. Or I guess we're running around the country saying Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten now. Which I can't believe we're following in the SEC's footsteps on this stuff.
We don't have to do that.
Don't have to do it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, I mean, if the college football playoff was supposed to be about inclusion and its ability to, access, its ability to get more different colors and flavors into the college football playoff and regions and stuff like that, it worked. It worked.
Absolutely.
And you want to know why it worked? Because any format would have worked. Because the whole thing is cyclical, right? It just moves and flows and it ebbs and flows year over year over year. And we have trends in the sport. And sometimes the trend in the sport is that there's 2 dominant teams. And sometimes there's 2 dominant teams and they're both in one conference and in one division. Sometimes. Like sometimes that's the way it rolls. But it was always going to move. Just like it will move when there's 12 teams in the playoff. And there will be a time in the 12-team playoff before we change it again and get really impatient after about 6 years where we say, oh man, what's wrong with this playoff format? Like this team's winning all the time or this team's not winning enough or whatever. Like we don't have to adjust things based on this. We'd have been fine staying at 4, right?
Somebody got injured because they played 104 games in a season.
Right. I do like the, I was thinking about this too, about how the bowl, format and style of the whole thing is going to change. Like, I do appreciate the month off, the 3+ weeks off, the lead up to those games, which we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because now we have a week until the national championship game, and this is the way it's always been since the playoffs started. We don't really get that anymore. We have to kind of reset and do it all in a week. And I think about it from the team's perspective. And I also think about it from how we watch football. Like I appreciate the lead up and I appreciate the month. It's kind of nice, but we don't get that anymore. That's okay. We sacrifice some things.
I do like that the coaches get a little time to add a wrinkle or two, get healthy.
Me too. I think it really shows
you're putting the best product out there.
That's exactly right. And you get the chance to adjust based on who's freaking opting out or whatever it might be. Okay.
Nobody opts out of the playoff, Connor.
No, nobody opts out of the playoff. That's true. Don't want to tell you that false narrative. All right. But I mean, we had 2 fun games yesterday. I'm happy we're getting Michigan, Washington. I don't understand you guys rooting for Michigan. Once again, we'll talk about that later.
They're the bad guys.
Allan Bell is coming up next. I'd like to ask him about, I wonder if he watched Iowa and Tennessee yesterday. He likes the Vols.
Oh, guarantee he did.
Wonder what he thought about that. Also, we have plenty of NFL coming up with Allan, as well as we head into Week 18. NFL reaction, overreaction coming as well. Plenty up on the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Conor Happer, with the Conor Happer Show at Conor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here with why I chose Everlevel Concrete Repair for my driveway. They do it all. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, protect the finished product from deterioration, and all at a fraction of the price of replacement. It's not a Band-Aid like other repair methods. Everlevel's products are designed to last, which is why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Better yet, it all comes with a transferable warranty. Protect your concrete before winter. Call Everlevel today for your free inspection. Everlevel. They make your driveway Everlevel. Level up.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, up yourself on the party. This is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. It's crushing and things so our cheeks feel fine. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell. On the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Nice. All right.
I'll do what I can.
We are joined on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Allan Bell, the AB3. I want to learn about this here in just a second. Allan, hello. How are you?
Hello, sir. We doing all right?
We're doing fantastic. First of all, did you get your first opportunity to be exposed to Iowa football yesterday, watching the Vols?
Yeah, like I got the full experience, and that was something. That's
beautiful.
That's a wildly built team because look, and it's a bowl game. I get it. You know what I mean? Like I don't take that's 100% of what they are. Like
no, that's pretty much what they are.
Yeah, it's true. Like it's crazy that you have a defense that's that damn good, and then you're like, I don't care about offense at all. Like the opposite. Like just do not care.
They operate under the belief that it is because their offense is so bad that their defense is so good. And I think there is some truth to that, but you'll see what happens this offseason. They have an opportunity to make a change and do something different on offense and hire a new offensive coordinator. They will, they will physically hire a new offensive coordinator, but they will look no different in 2024. It's going to be amazing. Kirk Ferentz is just built to double down, triple down, and quadruple down on the fact that they'll win 10 games every year doing exactly that.
That's the thing. Me and my dad were talking. I swear to God, we were talking about this like a month ago, or not? A month ago, right? Like after the Big Ten championship, that I have to respect this man's spite level. He will. Last year, they were like, "You're going to have to score some points." He came out and scored less points. And it's like I still went to the Big Ten championship. You can't get rid of me. Like it's phenomenal. I respect it.
They have not.
It's crazy, but I respect it.
So they have not scored an offensive touchdown against a ranked opponent since October 1st of 2022.
What?
Yeah, that's a real
How
life.
is that real?
It's a real life stat. Now they haven't played that many ranked opponents since then. Their schedule is famously pretty light this year, which is why they won as many games as they did. But that is a true story. When they score on defense.
That's crazy. I also like that they clinched the Big Ten championship game before Michigan and Ohio State did.
Yep.
Like, hey, you losers play. You two go to war to play against me. That's how this thing goes around here.
That's exactly right. That's the Big Ten West, which we will miss dearly. We will miss the Big Ten West dearly next year. All right, Allan, tell us a little bit about the AB3 and what you're starting over on YouTube.
Yeah. So, really creating an entire, I would say sports betting network, but it's more than that, right? Like what I found in just building brands for the last 8 years is that, it's really hard to find just a good community of people, like-minded, not that you have to be, fans of the same team or whatever, but I really enjoy putting together communities where everyone is valued, and it's going to be something to where, we're going to talk sports betting. We're going to talk sports as a whole. Like if you don't bet on sports, you will absolutely be in the mix 100%. And also it's something to where we're going to teach the brand new bettors how to do it. And we're going to teach them correctly, but also friendly, right? Because it's daunting and so much more, man. I could go on about it, but go to YouTube at the AB3. Subscribe for free, please. And I assure you, I think that you'll enjoy it.
Well, it's one of the reasons that we have you on every week, and we just talk about whatever. It's basically whatever comes to my mind. It's stream of conscious. You would be awesome at sports radio, by the way. So,
hey, I'm telling you, that's why I love this show, because you're y'all the same way that I am. Like everything's on the table. Sports are supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like let's have some fun with it.
Yep, right up our alley. So, we wish you good luck in the AB3, which is I've checked it out a couple times already. It's the same old Allan Bell, and it's fantastic.
You guys have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, so perfect. So what part of what this is also going to be is that it's not just me, right? Like I want an entire community of like everyone that we roll with. You know what I mean? That's good people. So people that are in my audience that might not know about your show, like y'all are exactly what we want to be a part of. So yeah, give me 10 minutes after we get off this call. I'm going to put you right on the front of the YouTube page as well.
It's so much fun, man, because we started the YouTube thing a couple years ago, and I guess when I started here, so yeah, a couple of years ago, and it kind of just, it started as this little, there's a couple people in there and they'd comment to each other, and now it's this whole thing, it's an expanded thing with bits and I feel like the people know us and we know them and we know exactly 100%. What's coming. It's fantastic. I love it.
It is like that. And that's exactly what I love, man. Is like when everybody is like getting along, you know what I mean? Like it's impossible to find any chats online. So yours, when you have that, dude, it's gold, man. Absolute gold.
Yep. And I would expect you to build very, very similar if they and
we can mix everybody together. A nice hodgepodge of folks here.
No doubt about it. AB, yes. So that'll be fantastic. So let's talk some NFL. So we've been off for 10 days now, and so it's hard to put together what day has been what over the last couple of days. I was disoriented by the fact that we were watching Monday Night Football on Saturday night. And it just kind of,
and they kept saying it too.
Monday Night Football on Saturday night, and it just kind of popped out of nowhere. But let's go back to that game, and of course, the end of it. I guess what do we do with the explanation that we got from that Lions Cowboys game, which basically turned out to just be a pretty blatant lie at that point. I don't think that helps the situation for them, but I guess what was your takeaway from all that?
Yeah, my takeaway was that it was a blatant lie. Right?
Yeah,
I mean that's exactly what it was. Look, I'll tell you. I think what happened is you had two players that went over there, all right, to report. The referee heard one of them, announced one of them, and then didn't get the other one. Right? I really think that's what happened because there's no reason to definitely go over there and not report.
Right?
Pretty intelligent human being, He knew what time it was. And the rest just screwed it up. They just absolutely screwed it up. And this is the problem when there's no transparency with referees in both the NFL and in college, right? They're not even full-time employees.
Right.
So what are you going to do? It's a pretty big miss there. Now, luckily, both teams are going to the playoffs, so it's not it's a season killer. But still, I mean, that win would have meant something,
Oh, no doubt about it. As far as you mentioned the accountability part, and I know, everybody's done their screaming to the ceiling, man, we need what's going on here? They need to answer for this, and they need to do something. I think there needs to be some action taken from the perspective of maybe that guy, doesn't get to do a playoff game or whatever it might be. Maybe they do that anyway. They certainly have a system for doing that anyway. But honestly, it's hard to say this out loud because I know people are all pissed off about it, but guys make mistakes and that's the best you could do. I have and this is where people get carried away. The intention was obviously good. There's not any conspiracy here. Nobody's trying to rip off the Lions for a playoff spot. It just sucks. It's a bad spot.
Yeah. And you know what? I agree with you 100%, right? I completely agree. I do not believe that there was a nefarious part in any of that. Like you said, people make mistakes. The problem is not on the referee side. Now, he has to eat it, and the crew has to eat it, but it's the NFL's fault for never making anything transparent, right? They do it to themselves. And I also get that because once you open that up, it's a never-ending barrage, right? It just fans will just attack constantly. But, man, I feel bad. I'm with you. People make mistakes. They absolutely make mistakes, and it happens. But yeah, I mean, that's what the NFL gets for not being transparent ever with any.
Do you find yourself also having sympathy for Russell Wilson?
Yeah, weirdly. Yeah. He's getting screwed. And they told him after he beat the Chiefs. Really? That's when you told him? Come on, man. And again, look, it's life. It's the NFL. He ain't the first person that this happened to, right? But still, it's not good for that locker room, man. Other people see this stuff, And
definitely.
free agents see that stuff. It's just,
If you're the Broncos, you just have to, like, very plain and simple, you just got to eat some bad PR right now. Like you
do. And you know what? And let me also say, Sean Payton.
No, not clean here.
Not clean, but also he's like, hey, I didn't hire you, man. You know, like,
yeah,
I got love for you, but I got a job to do too. You know, like, I do get that, but like that's the underbelly that we don't see. Like, that stuff happens, man. It's dirty.
No doubt about it. Going into the final weekend of the regular season, let's skip ahead to Sunday night. What do we? Yep. I mean, we've talked about the Bills, I think, every single week that you've come on this show. The Dolphins have become, you know, I don't know if they're a confusing bunch, but they're certainly different than maybe they were a few weeks ago. They got an injury situation piling up on the defense now. Bills and Dolphins for Sunday night, and for the AFC East. Who do you like?
I'm gonna have to go with the Bills. Look, and you know, it's not like they look good against New England. I mean, you know, 19 interceptions and a pick six, like, that certainly helped out. But like what you said about Miami, man, like, not only injuries defensively, but when Tyreek Hill is not 1,000% good to go, that offense is different. It's completely different. So I'm gonna throw Buffalo on this one. What do you think? It's tough though, because they're tough to trust too, man.
Yeah, I think right now it's got to be Buffalo. Right now, I would take Buffalo. I don't like their like, you know, body of work, I guess, but right now it's Buffalo.
You know what it comes down to, honestly? Like, 3rd and 4th down. Like, I trust Buffalo to get that 3rd and 3 by running Josh Allen. Like, Miami scares me. Like, when I see them like 3rd and 5, 4th and 6, you don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Like, at all. It's madness.
How far do you think, or what do you think the Chiefs' playoff outlook is going to be if we skip over Week 18 for them?
Yeah, just stay the hell out of Baltimore, man, and I think you got a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do you do with Kansas City, man? Like, you don't want to play them. You know, like, you don't want to face Mahomes and that team, because at any moment they can light you up. But they've got to. I mean, well, they're in the AFC, not the NFC.
No doubt,
right?
they could still go to the AFC Championship game. You know,
absolutely. Like, and look, let me also say, I don't trust Baltimore in the playoffs either. I've seen this story before, right? Like, I've seen this movie a couple years ago. It doesn't always work out well for them either. Look, I'll say it. If you force me to bet, I'll bet Kansas City right now. I'll do it. This team could win.
Look, it does happen every year, Allan, where it's like, oh, we have a very clear front runner in the AFC. We have a very clear front runner in the NFC. And it's like, okay, cool. Can't wait till the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. And then it doesn't end up happening that way.
Yeah. Then Chiefs, then you get the Chiefs. Like, I know, man. Like, dude, I'll bet on them all day long. If I lose, that's the price of doing business. I'll bet on them.
I'll say this, like, if there is some value to be had there somewhere, like, if you're betting on either the Ravens or the 49ers, you know, to get bounced earlier than they're supposed to, whether it's in that conference title game or before that, like, anybody could win the Super Bowl at that point. Anybody could win the Super Bowl at that point.
Okay, here's the question. Who has a better shot at winning the title, Jim or John Harbaugh? Washington looked good last night, man.
Yeah. Well, they're favorites, right? So it's just one game. So I guess it's Jim, but they could both win. They could both win championships this year.
That'd be crazy. That'd be nuts.
The Harbaughs in the with their rings together, and then Jim's in the NFL next year.
They do some sort of tag team champions of the world, like the Road Warriors or something. Man.
It'll be fantastic. And then Bill Belichick will take the Michigan job, and everything will be great.
Belichick versus Ryan Day. That's what. Hey, let me say, if Ohio State thought that Michigan was doing some filming illegally, then you just wait, pal.
Yeah.
Belichick admitted that move.
Just wait till they hire the Spygate coach. Great idea. All right, AB. We'll let you go. We'll talk to you all throughout the playoffs. Can't wait, and then we'll have it all set up next week when we get ready to go.
All right, look forward to it, buddy. Y'all be good, man. Take care.
Al Bell of the AB3. Check him out there on YouTube. Allan, he gets it, you know, building a community. That's kind of what it's all about. We love the We love the YouTube crowd, and he'll be able to do that very seamlessly over on his new platform.
Yeah, get in on the ground floor or something.
Mustache Adam writes in, by the way, from earlier.
Hi, Mustache.
Conor, thank you for having the best take of 2024.
Whoa.
Not cheering for conference schools. I have never understood this. I was texting with friends about this yesterday. I've never cheered for another conference mate. How does it benefit my team? It doesn't. Great point. Put a pin in that. Give me 10 minutes. And we'll talk about that in depth after Josh's Odd News, which is up next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Have dynamic divisions. You can literally do that by saying, all right, well, we're going to match up the teams that we have scheduled against each other, and they're in one division, and the other group is in the other side. Hell, you could change them every year if you wanted to, but at least you have structure of this team's going to have the best record on this side, and your tiebreakers are going to work.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A bit more mild on Tuesday. Expect partly sunny skies with a west to northwest breeze, gusts around 10 to 15 miles per hour most of the day. Highs in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. It's cushion things so our chicks feel fine. So what? Every booty wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, Rich Eisen here. So this football season's really heating up, and the guys on my show, they're having a blast with Prize Picks. And now with basketball season in full swing, they're able to pick combo projections across both sports. Join them on prizepicks.com/primetime. Easy gameplay and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what they tell me makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Brockman's loving that aspect. He's hooked. And all you need to do is visit prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. That's code primetime at prizepicks.com/primetime for a first deposit match up to $100. Don't be left on the sideline this basketball season. Go to Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Hey, Josh, have you heard the news that Mike Tomlin's never gone under 500?
Yeah, I've also heard the news that the fans want him fired, which is the height of entitlement.
Hey,
well, no, I'm sorry. The height of entitlement is Alabama fans wanting Nick Saban fired after last night.
There is a very high wire act in between not going under 500 and that being a good thing, and then like what's directly below you in the, if you're tightrope in this thing, what's right underneath you is Jeff Fisher. It's like, I'm in danger of falling off this rope and being Jeff Fisher. Very close to being Jeff Fisher. Everybody thought, hey, Jeff Fisher, good coach. Actually, after 10 years of going 500 every year, I'm sick of him. Please fire him.
172-102 is Mike Tomlin.
That's good. I mean, he's got some room before he gets to Jeff Fisher.
8-9 in the postseason.
They're not very good, though.
No,
that's kind of the thing.
Not.
They shouldn't fire him, but they're not very good. At the same time, they have a chance to still make the playoffs. Did you know this? They need some things to happen. I believe it would include Miami winning to move Buffalo down into that tie. I can't remember exactly the scenario for the Steelers, but it's it does exist. They have a 22% chance to get in the playoffs.
I have it in front of me here. Pittsburgh needs to win and have Buffalo lose.
Yep.
Or win and have Jacksonville lose. Or win and have Texans-Colts tie.
Yeah.
Or tie themselves, Jacksonville lose, and the Colts-Texans game not end in a tie.
Okay, so
this is when it gets confusing.
When it gets into a tie, when the Colts-Texans tie inevitably,
a 9-9 tie.
That's happening, right?
Yes.
The Colts and the Texans are going to tie.
If Pittsburgh wins, they're good.
I think that's something that the Bills can't have happen, or it's either can't have happen or need to have happen. Like there's still a scenario where the Bills don't make it, which I really want.
And the Bills can also get the 2 seed still.
The Bills can still get the 2 seed.
What a wild swing
as well.
The Steelers play at Baltimore, their blood rival, who has nothing to play for.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. And Joe Flacco leads the team who might have the best chance outside of the Ravens to win the AFC title. Joe Flacco.
Wild times.
Okay.
Odd news.
Oh, here we got a Tomlin take. # Tomlin take from JP.
Oh.
You can make the argument that no current NFL coach has done less with more than Mike Tomlin. But because he finishes over 500, we're all supposed to hold him in high regard. No, thank you. JP out on Mike Tomlin.
They have 9 wins with a tackling dummy at quarterback.
Yeah. Less with more is a hard sell. That's a tough sell for me, but they're not very good. Tomlin's good.
Keep him. Trust me, it'll work itself out.
Yeah. I appreciate the take, though. All right, odd news. Let's do it.
Snoop Dogg update.
What's going on, Snoop?
Well, he will be a quote-unquote major contributor to NBC's primetime Olympics coverage from Paris this summer.
They announced this. I don't know if they announced it, but they were talking about it on Sunday Night Football. I guess that was Sunday night, right?
I want him in there with Tirico each and every night giving takes.
So where are the Olympics?
Paris.
Great.
Maybe you've heard of it.
I have.
Okay.
There's naysayers in Paris.
Careful.
Naysayers.
Primetime Olympic
Let a
coverage
naysayer know.
has been fading in relevance over the years, but it still remains one of the most watched television events not named the NFL.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg is joining the coverage from Paris this summer at the Olympics. The global megastar will be on site in Paris to provide regular reports for the Olympic primetime show beginning July 26th on NBC and Peacock. People forget about Peacock. Snoop will speak with Mike Tirico and provide the large primetime U.S. audience with his unique take on what's happening. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get exactly what I want.
Yeah, I think this is this is kind of sad, but this is also probably the way you do it, right? They're looking at the Olympics, which is like the oldest thing there is, and they're like, how do we make this thing cool? And obviously, the TV exec's answer was Snoop Dogg. Let's have Snoop Dogg translate it for you.
Hey, people aren't watching this thing anymore. Yeah. How can we get them to watch?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Okay.
When in doubt, Snoop Dogg is the answer. So I get it. It makes me sad, but yeah, I do get it.
I think I'm lockstep with you on this one. It is a new year. That means new trademarks have lapsed.
What's available?
The original Mickey Mouse cartoon, Steamboat Willie, has entered the public domain.
Oh, wow.
The images are now available to anyone in the public, as Disney has allowed the copyright to expire. It is not the copyright on Mickey Mouse. It is the copyright on the first Mickey Mouse cartoon, Steamboat Willie, which if you'd look up an image from it, you go, oh, that's not the Mickey Mouse I know and love today.
It's just Mickey Mouse when he's driving the boat.
Yeah. U.S. copyright law says the rights to characters can be held for 95 years, which means Steamboat Willie entered the public domain yesterday. The 1928 short film featured non-speaking versions of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It is widely seen as the moment that transformed Disney's fortune and made cinema history. Now, somebody also came out yesterday and said, okay, we knew this was coming. We knew Disney was not going to pick up the copyright like a player option. We knew they were going to let it lapse. So we're
making a movie.
We've made a horror movie where Steamboat Willie kills a bunch of people.
Yes, it will be. Let's see. Stephen Lamort is set to direct an untitled horror comedy based on Mickey's cartoon debut. In it, a sadistic mouse will torment a group of unsuspecting ferry passengers. Production is set to begin in the spring. So the poster that I'm seeing is basically Steamboat Willie, a terrifying version of Steamboat Willie, looking back at the city while riding the Staten Island ferry.
This sounds an awful lot like Jason Takes Manhattan.
I imagine that Pete Davidson will be in this movie in some way, shape, or form.
Well, they did this with Winnie the Pooh last year, and it's one of the worst things I've ever laid eyes on.
Perfect.
So I look forward to reviewing that at some point.
Good on these people for being ready for it, though.
Oh, yeah. You
got to be prepared.
It's good foresight, because people like myself will click play on this just because, all right, I got to see this dumpster fire.
Josh, I got to tell you about all the movies I watched during the break.
Oh, my gosh. No way.
I watched a few. I dabbled. I thought I was going to watch more. I actually started a list. All right. Well,
we need to go through the itemized list.
Okay.
Piece by piece.
Yeah, we will.
Other things.
Give me a second.
Entered the public domain. With the turning of the calendar, Charlie Chaplin's silent romantic comedy, The Circus, A.A. Milne's book, The House at Pooh Corner, which introduced the character Tigger, and Conor, I know this one's big in your house, D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover.
I never heard of that before.
Do you read Lady Chatterley's Lover?
Never. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And finally, this story is for you, Conor.
All right.
It does not take place in an airport, but it does take place on TikTok, I believe.
Love TikTok.
Let's see. What is this guy's name? Josh Slavin? Doesn't matter. He's 23 years old. He has released 26 different TikToks. I guess this article says Instagram Reels, but same thing, right? Where he is reviewing the last meals of death row inmates.
Oh.
He is cooking them, eating them, and reviewing them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great bit.
Great bit, right? The first one he posted was that of Ricky Ray Rector, great name, a convicted murderer who, according to several news reports, requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie for his final meal. He died of lethal injection in Arkansas in 1992. He told a news organization, no rhyme or reason why I chose that one first, but it looked simple enough to throw together. I enjoy making the content. People enjoy consuming it, so I kept going. He works in finance. He recently graduated from Washington University.
Wow.
That's in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
Where
I've seen a baseball game there before.
Oh, okay.
Wash you.
He believes it is true crime aficionados who have taken an interest in this series of social media posts.
I'm not a true crime guy, but this could be my gateway drug because I am interested in this.
He also tried the meal requested by famed terrorist Timothy McVeigh, who was sentenced to death for the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995. And Conor,
what did he want?
I could have withheld this information, but it's better for the bit if I don't.
Chicken parm.
He requested 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, perfect. Interesting. That sounds about right.
Yep. Let you have that win there. Slavin has recreated and taste-tested meals that have been requested by several notorious inmates, including Ted Bundy, who declined the privilege to select a meal.
Now that's a true killer.
Right? Right? After he declined to choose, he was given steak, hash browns, eggs, toast, juice, and milk.
Wow. This is like a law where you have to give him the last meal?
I would imagine there's a...
I guess you got to feed him.
If it's not a law, it's like hey, let's be humane here.
Yeah, and then kill him.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm interested in this series. I'm going to wait to see who has chicken parm first and then have a weird infatuation with their killings and their crimes.
Now, this does bring up the question, what would your last meal be? Would it be chicken parm?
Yeah, I'd probably have Chef Wes make me that sandwich again. That's really good.
Specifically request.
Yeah. Could I request that? Could I have like Gordon Ramsay come in and like yell at me, call me an idiot sandwich, and make me a steak or something like that?
Now, I would assume the chef would decline that because you would be a horrible person.
Like, how much leeway do I have?
Yeah.
Like, how much can I get away with?
Like, I think you can make the ask. I just don't think anyone's going to do it.
Like, can I say, I want Zio's Pizza, Omaha, Nebraska? You know, can I do that? I'm in like Leavenworth, Kansas, or something.
I would think so, right? Like it's your last meal.
I guess so. It's you get one request, really. I'm interested in the TikTok bit, though. That's for sure. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Conor.
That is the odd news. I will tell you which movies I watched at some point during the show today. You may take an interest, a small interest.
I guarantee I will.
But we'll come back and dive further into what the heck is wrong with you. Yes, you.
Me?
No, not you. You. Next on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Looking for a sweet treat that will transport you back into time? Look no further than Ted and Wally's. With 2 convenient locations in Benson and the Old Market, it's the perfect place to satisfy your cravings. Whether you're downtown or in Benson, make sure to stop in. And if you're catching a basketball game, why not indulge in a delicious dessert afterwards? With over 3,000 flavors to choose from, there's something for everyone. Don't forget to check out our social media for daily flavors. Ted and Wally's, serving up nostalgia at its finest for over 35 years. Visit tedandwallys.com for more information.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do have a favorite child.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
It's Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance. Get up to 60% off select Sealy, plus a free adjustable base, all with free and fast delivery. Deals this big won't last long, so don't miss out. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Hey, thank you to all the people yesterday when I asked what time does the sun set behind the San Gabriels, who answered the question. It was in the 6 o'clock hour, our time, late 6 o'clock. Now, what time? This is more of a rhetorical question. You might not know the answer to it. What time does the Rose Bowl usually start? Does it usually start like an hour later? Or did we start it at regular time?
I believe 4 o'clock Central is generally the start time for the Rose Bowl.
I always feel like it's a 5:30 deal, but maybe I'm just imagining that.
Mid-afternoon to late afternoon.
I mean, I guess you couldn't have done it since it was the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would they? By the way, would ESPN have preferred to flip it yesterday had it not been the Rose Bowl?
It definitely got in the way, right?
Because I don't like. I would have rather watched the primetime game at 4 than I would have at 8. I mean,
I guess you're not going to put a playoff game on at 11 and 4 or noon and 4 or whatever it would be.
No, but I mean, it's still getting the same ratings, right? I'm going to watch Texas and Washington play at 11 o'clock for a national championship spot.
I would think there were not a lot of people working yesterday. Now that cues the whole...
People don't work anymore.
Oh, everybody! Oh, yeah. Just because you were off, Josh, doesn't mean that I was. I'm blue collar.
No,
your collar's white.
It's New Year's Day. People places are closed. It's New Year's Day.
Yeah, I think they would have got a decent number.
I think so too. Anyway, so I asked. I was gaining this thought yesterday that I wanted Michigan, just to tell you where I was starting from. I wanted Michigan to lose desperately. Badly. So, yes, I did find myself rooting for Alabama yesterday. I don't like Michigan. I've made this very clear before. I don't like Michigan. I don't think people should like Michigan. I think especially, and now I'm talking to Nebraska fans in general, why are you rooting for Michigan? What are you rooting for Michigan for? And so I tweeted this out. So you guys are so triggered by the SEC that you were rooting for Michigan of all teams? Michigan? The worst thing that I could say about Alabama is that I am sick of them, right?
Right.
My fatigue does not trump my feelings toward Michigan as a football program and how they have enjoyed all of the spoils and the luxuries of being a blue blood program for all these years and never winning a damn thing. Half a national championship. Bo Schembechler won nothing, right? They're going to, maybe they'll win a national championship in a week here. But they'll do it under protest because they've cheated their way to the entire thing. It's great. Michigan is one of the true hateable programs that we have in our sport. The SEC and the Big Ten exist. I've talked about this before in separate worlds. What the SEC does not affect me. And people were talking about in my comments, like in my menchies yesterday, like, oh, I just wanted to see Michigan win so that ESPN has to pump this all Big Ten national championship game this week, quote unquote, all Big Ten national championship game this week. Really? That's what we're rooting against now? Television networks getting squirmy?
Because
they're
broadcast professionals. They're going to do their job.
Right. Like, I could care less at whether ESPN is comfortable or not comfortable doing things. It doesn't matter to me. Why do we take those things so personally? It's still about the programs. And so I got this comment from Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Who says, so you're saying you're so triggered by Michigan that you'd root against your conference. And that's the way I was presenting this. Like, I'm talking to you, Nebraska fans. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. My answer is hell yes. What do I care about the damn Big Ten? I also don't care, and we have way overdone this in college football with the whole SEC versus the Big Ten thing, and Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama and Georgia representing the SEC, and then we take that to mean like the gospel, and the SEC is better than the Big Ten because of that reason, and they beat them, and no, the Big Ten's good because they have Ohio State. The tops of the conferences are not all that representative of the conferences as a whole. We way overdo it with that completely. I like the fact that we still do have a regional sport in that way, and maybe this is like the last bastion of that we just saw, because there's going to be 16 teams in each of those conferences next year. But like, they don't have a lot to do with each other until they get to the national championship game, and then we want to make it out like we do the same thing in college basketball too. Like these two, they'll do the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Like, oh, good, looks like the Big Ten is better than the ACC. It's like, yeah, they're playing each other in November. It doesn't, there's not all that many stakes attached to it. Guys going through injuries, like, let's figure that out in the NCAA tournament. But I don't need to make these declarative statements on which conference is better than the other. Why did we start doing this? This is in my estimation, my guess is, it is the annoyance from everybody else that the SEC goes around chanting their names, SEC, SEC, SEC at everybody. And they want to like get back at them and say, no, look, see, you're going around chanting SEC at everybody. It's about the Big Ten, Big Ten. And then you actually start to believe it. And then you actually start to buy in. You're supposed to hate the teams that are in your conference.
Michigan cheated.
Josh, have you ever heard the phrase familiarity breeds contempt?
I have heard that phrase.
I believe that wholeheartedly. The closer, like the more times Nebraska plays Iowa on Black Friday, the more I hate them. The more proximity Nebraska has to Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio State, the more I hate them. I didn't have one single feeling about them before Nebraska joined the Big Ten, and now I do.
Would we root for Iowa in the playoff just because they're a Big Ten school? I don't think we would.
Care about Iowa, right? Like, I want to see Michigan lose because of their general disposition as a program and what they think they mean to the sport and what they actually are. And they think that they're better than they are. It's a program that is that thinks a lot of itself, Josh, and that's why I don't like them.
There were 3 logos in this college football playoff that I want to see die in a tire fire, and they were all east of the Rocky Mountains. I'll let you decide.
Give them to me.
Michigan, Alabama, Texas.
Yeah.
I found myself rooting for Alabama yesterday, odd as it felt. My wife was very confused. She said, "What, you're rooting for Alabama?"
Hell yeah.
I said, yes. I begrudgingly respect them.
Yes. Like I said, the worst thing I could say about them is that I'm sick of them. Right?
Michigan cheated.
Like, so if we're looking at it from that perspective, I'm appreciative that we have new blood and new colors and like different stuff going on in the national, like different narratives going on in the national championship game. It's fun to talk about this week. I'm glad that we have that. That is a positive thing for the sport.
Agree.
But like, I'm not rooting for Michigan.
You could have put
Michigan of all the teams to saddle up to, Michigan.
You could have put Hail Satan State against Michigan or Texas, and I would have went, Hail Satan.
All right. Nice, Josh.
Guess we're hailing Satan.
Maybe you went too far there.
I don't think I did.
Okay. All right. But
I don't think you went far enough.
All right. But I couldn't believe that yesterday. Like, what are we doing here? I think we've been infected by this. Like, for as much as people around here, Big Ten fans, Nebraska fans who are also a fan of the Big Ten, quote unquote, like, love to talk about how annoyed they are by the SEC because they're going around chanting SEC, SEC, SEC at people. You have now been infected by this disease. And it Josh, we always reference this movie, The Other Guys, where Mark Wahlberg's character learns to play all these musical instruments because he wants to make fun of the quote unquote, the kids on his block or whatever. You know that?
Yes.
That reference?
I do.
That's what's happened here. You guys have you guys have like all of a sudden you wanted to make fun of the SEC so much that you actually now believe that this world is split by the conferences.
Remember when the lovable bunch of idiot Boston Red Sox became the most powerful entity in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, that was the worst. That was the worst thing ever. It was a terrible time in our country. Everybody was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. Jesse writes in.
Hi, Jesse.
Josh, you should have been rooting for Florida State.
I mean, I was.
And was that had that?
I very quickly turned it to the Arizona Bowl because that was more
Oh,
watchable.
did you watch the Barstool Bowl?
I did.
How was that?
That was a different broadcast. Let me tell you, friends.
So what did they do on there?
I mean, it's the two racists and the other guy doing play-by-play.
Nice.
They got some nitwit on the sideline who's like wearing a suit jacket that's 2 sizes too small for him, and like that's
nice.
the bit.
So the whole thing is just
yeah. I mean, it was Toledo and Wyoming. So
what if Nebraska played in a bowl game and their first bowl game in like a decade, and they went to the Arizona Barstool Bowl?
It
would be not fun for anybody.
My history with Barstool is well documented. I don't care for them, but I would love it just to see the white hairs in this state react to that broadcast.
Well, because even though Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in a long period of time now, Nebraska still thinks of itself as a historically relevant program and a program with a certain amount of prestige.
They're a blue blood.
Yeah. Playing their football game on barstool.com or on the Barstool YouTube page.
It was on the CW, by the way.
It was on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't fly. I mean,
No.
we already saw people's reaction to Peacock, and they're a professional organization. That is an arm of NBC. Like, no, thank you. Can't deal with those wackos on Peacock.
But what happens when, not to take our hilarious conversation and turn it a little more serious, what happens if Washington wins the college football playoff and the Pac-12 and Big Ten are claiming this national title?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole crux of my question. This is not to be confused with Harry Potter's Horcruxes. This is the whole
movie reference.
This is the whole crux of my question. Why do we do this with the conferences? Who cares about the conferences and who gets to claim what? And like the Big Ten, the Big Ten has this many national championships. And we just went through the 14 playoff thing earlier. Like, yeah, the SEC's won more playoff games. It's once again, when we get into the top of the sport, the top 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that make the playoff, and maybe it's different now with the 12-team playoff. When we get into those 4, those teams are not necessarily representative of the conferences that they play in. They're just not. For the rest of us down here in the non-elite version of college football, the teams that aren't playing for national championships, right, and who are a step below that, it's a different sport, and what happens outside of your conference doesn't necessarily matter that much. Now the world is getting a little bit smaller. The Big Ten is going to have 4 new teams in it next year. The SEC will be larger. The Big 12 is going to be a whack job conference. I don't know. It's being an amalgamation of 700 different things. I'm not sure what's going on over there. It'll be weird and hard to sort of process, I guess. But like, still, you have to, like, the conference that you play in is the conference that you play in, and you have to win the games against the teams that you have the most familiarity with because you play them every single year. You play a portion of them, I guess, in the newfangled version of the Big Ten every single year. That's what matters. It's we are sectioned off until we get to the playoff. And then we want to yell about which conference is better at the end of the year. It's just odd to me. And by the way, it's all based on one game where anything could happen, and it's 2 very equally talented teams, and we want to make a whole like Nebraska's loss to Michigan was better because they're going to win the national championship instead of getting bounced out in the semifinals by Alabama?
Looks so much better.
Get the hell out of here.
Did I want the Phillies to win the World Series? No, sir.
I don't get it. But how you guys root? It's up to you. I just think you've been infected by a disease. That's all. It's called the SEC-ism. It's called the SEC-ation of college football.
There's got to be a way we can work SEC schism into mash it up into one word.
Yeah, we're
just not smart enough.
Workshop that a little bit.
Probably should have done that before we went live.
NFL reaction, overreaction is still to come. I still have takes from the break.
Oh yeah, I want to hear these. Your movies that you watch.
I got movies. What did I get to in the Conor Happer Show in 1620 The Zone?
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Creighton Sports Update. Creighton women's basketball returns home to DJ Sokol Arena tomorrow for a ranked matchup. The Blue Jays welcome the Yukon Huskies at 6 p.m. for a Big East battle. Arrive early to secure your free rally towel to cheer on your Jays to a victory. To purchase tickets and follow along on all things Creighton athletics, visit gocreighton.com. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
right, quick takes from the break. Ooh, just one. Then we'll have some more. Sometimes refs just screw up. There's my tepid take from the break. I wish they would admit it. You know, I wish the ref in the Lions-Cowboys game would have just said, yeah, 68 reported, and I thought it was 70, and I biffed it. And 70 was the extra guy the whole game, and so I biffed it. I'm sorry, I biffed it, and I know it screwed the Lions out of all this stuff. It would have been a great moment for their franchise. You didn't have to say that. But I biffed it. I screwed it up. Instead, they're like, no.
I don't know what they're telling you, but that's not what happened.
So, do you remember Jim Joyce, Josh?
I do. He was trending for a little bit over the weekend.
That makes sense. I don't know why he was, but here's why he was trending in my mind, or here's why I thought of him. Jim Joyce admitted he missed the call at first base on Armando Galarraga's perfect game. He admitted it. He cried like a baby on national television. He came out the next day. He shook Armando Galarraga's hand. And you know what happened to Jim Joyce after that? Everyone was like, you know what? I kind of like this Jim Joyce guy. He screwed that up bad, but I liked that he took some responsibility for that. That was nice. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. He was
Jim
instantly
Joyce
let off the hook.
Like Jim Joyce was always the guy who missed the call at first base, but he also handled it really well. Like he didn't tell people that he made the right call, right? Because everyone saw that he didn't.
Like Andy Pettit saying, "You know what? Yeah, I did it." Now we don't lump him in with other people.
Like OJ. OJ spent all this time saying, "If I did it."
I don't think Andy Pettit murdered two people.
No. Allegedly. But everyone shouts accountability for these refs. And I'm kind of asking, like, what do you want to do? The things that people are suggesting are just dumb and bad business.
Got to replay the down.
Hold the guy out of the playoff game. We don't need to go to the Supreme Court. You know, it's the same thing as when they missed the Saints-Rams playoff, the NFC Championship game, the pass interference. Like, we're not going to go back. We're not going to replay the game. We're not going to do it under protest. Like, sometimes people just screw up. We have the human element to the sport. I wish that we could get them all right, but we can't. And sometimes in really important situations, somebody gets them wrong. And it's hard to say that in the emotion of all of it, and obviously in the hours and days following the game. But eventually you just get over it. And like the accountability that I would like to see is, the guy gets removed from a playoff game, or he has to, figure out why and what happened. And that's it. Like, we don't need to put the guy in jail. There's not some conspiracy against the Detroit Lions of all teams. Who would hate the Lions?
The league wants the Cowboys to succeed.
Stupid.
The Cowboys are very successful no matter their record.
The explanation that I choose to abide by here is people screw up. And the guy screwed up. And that sucks.
I'm going to assume he cannot come out and say, I screwed up because of gambling. Right? Because then if I am a gambler, I can go to, not the FanDuel Sportsbook, but an inferior sportsbook and say,
some other
garbage
shop.
I want my money back. I made the right bet. My team that I bet on should have won. I bet on the Lions to win. Because the last 8 underdogs on Monday Night Football had won outright. So I bet the Lions to make it 9 in a row, and it should have happened.
We all won it for different reasons, Josh. You would like to see the result of that game be reversed? Is that what you're saying?
No, but if he admits to making an error in that spot, then the gamblers can say, well, I won.
Here's the other thing. If you're the Lions, and I have no doubt this will be absolutely the way that Dan Campbell handles it. You go to the press conference after the game, you're pissed, you crumple up a piece of paper, you want to eat it. You're like, this is the worst thing I've ever had to do. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to say anything. I hate being, I thought it was going to get more serious than what Dan Campbell ended up doing after the post game on Saturday.
I would have opened my press conference by writing a check and saying, you know what? I'm good for the next 20 minutes. Let's talk about this.
You're a showman, Josh.
I am a little bit.
You're a showman. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to use this as fuel. They're going to use this as energy. And when the Lions do something of significance in the playoffs, they'll come back and say, I think that situation really galvanized us.
It's a real lightning rod for us.
Yep. Exactly what Michigan's doing right now. And any team who's ever gone through any sort of adversity, nobody believed in us. You got to, even if you have to manufacture it and you're Georgia, where everybody thinks you're going to win the national championship by 40 last year. And they're like, yeah, nobody believed in us. They thought we were going to go 7-6 this year.
The Pistons didn't lose 29 games in a row so that we could be one and done in the playoffs.
Right. So it's okay. Everything's fine. Sometimes refs screw up. That's one take from the break. Just a little taste.
Good take.
Thank you, Josh. All right. Oh, yeah, movies I watched before we get to NFL reaction, overreaction.
Yeah, this is important.
So I thought this list was going to be longer when I started it.
Okay.
And then it only ended up being 3. I thought I was going to watch more movies.
3's good for you, though.
I think I watched 3 in the first 3 days.
Oh, wow. What a pace.
So one night I was about to go to bed, but I didn't feel like it was time to go to bed yet because I was on break, right?
Sure,
I got to make all the most out of this time. So I flipped on American Sniper. I watched American Sniper.
Oh, how'd you think of that fake baby?
That baby was so fake.
That baby was the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Extremely fake. Bradley Cooper, that guy rules, though.
That guy wants an award.
He's awesome.
Give him an award.
American Sniper is a good movie. And don't come at me about your takes about what was made up and what was... I don't care. Don't care.
Don't care.
Good movie. Then, as my wife was on her yearly / maybe weekly, monthly tour through all of the Harry Potter movies,
okay,
I latched on for number 7. Harry Potter 7, The Deathly Hallows Part 2, I think.
Part 1.
Part 1. No, it was the end.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was 8 then.
You hopped in for the last.
7 Part 2. Good movie.
Yeah.
Harry Potter saves the day. Spoiler alerts.
I don't care for Harry Potter.
You don't care for the Harry Potters.
Those movies were pretty well done. Had a bad experience. Don't care for Harry Potter.
Had a bad experience,
Yes.
Josh.
Mhm.
Would you like to talk about it?
Okay. I'll bring something to the table here since I teased it.
Well, you said it. I mean,
I brought
it's my responsibility to ask.
Yes. In high school, I had a girlfriend who, unbeknownst to me, was trying to change my appearance to be more like Harry Potter.
She's into cosplay. She wanted to Harry Potterize you.
Yeah. She wanted me to have rounder glasses and longer hair, and
you didn't know about this until when? Until you saw Harry Potter, and then you're like, "What the hell?"
I don't know what tipped me off to something being nefarious, but something didn't seem right, so I said something.
You were like, "Are you trying to Harry Potterize me?"
I don't know if those were the exact words, but that was pretty much the beginning of the end for that.
Wow. What a time.
What a revelation.
And now you hate Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I feel like you're taking it out on the wrong thing. Go try it again, Josh. It's good. Snape ends up being a good guy.
A lot of people want more details about this. I'm not sure that I have them.
All right. Well, just know that you're going to get some questions. And I'm curious to get your reaction. The third and final movie I watched over break was Barbie. I saw Barbie.
Oh, what'd you think?
I loved Barbie.
Great movie.
I thought Barbie was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody in the nights leading up to me watching this movie finally for the first. They were like, I didn't like Barbie. I hated Barbie. I didn't really get it.
Oh, you were talking to a man.
I didn't understand it. I'm like, really? I didn't know that this was polarizing in any sort of way. I just thought it was a fun movie for everybody. And I watched Barbie. I really liked it.
Yeah. Did you watch it with your wife?
No, I watched it alone.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. I flipped it on.
See,
same situation.
The way they treat Ken in the movie is how in movies made by men, they treat women.
Well, here's the other thing.
That's the joke.
Here's the other thing you got to know about me. Like, I love Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
I love Ryan Gosling.
He might win some awards.
He should. He was so good.
He was great. Terrific.
Barbie was great. Yeah. I really liked Barbie. I didn't get to Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah. You got to watch that too. That's
yeah.
a good one.
So I'm only about 6 months behind.
You'll get there.
On movies.
No shame.
NFL reaction, overreaction when we return on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
I want to hear the thank you at the end of it too.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. When you order a Big Mac at McDonald's.
No, thank you.
Thank you, caller Conor.
Good job, Conor.
No, thank you.
Maybe it was Connor Stallion. No.
It could have been.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Conor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A bit more mild on Tuesday. Expect partly sunny skies with a west to northwest breeze, gusts around 10 to 15 miles per hour most of the day. Highs in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more Da Vinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh, yeah. Let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab you a trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Here comes the clown.
Many people asking Josh, hey Josh, how'd you catch on to this? Did she ask if you wanted to get a lightning bolt tattooed on your face?
So I understand that there are follow-up questions to be had, and I swear I'm not declining to answer them. I just don't remember.
So you don't remember what tipped you off?
I don't remember what the tip-off was.
And now you've held a grudge against Harry Potter for more than a decade for no reason.
Almost 2 decades now, but I do remember a phrase, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's close enough. Why can't you be more like Harry Potter? And that's when it clicked, I think. Oh, the round glasses, the long hair. And that kid from the movies, that dorky kid.
And okay, now, did you answer the question? Why can't you be more like Harry Potter?
I believe I said something to the effect of, because I'm a real boy.
You can't do magic? You're not a wizard, Harry?
Right.
I guess that makes sense. That's a rational response.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be... people are going to listen to this later on, and we're going to get some tweets. So just know that.
That's fair. Completely fair. I'll answer. If I have the answer to any question that you have, I will answer
Now,
it.
did you like Harry Potter as a series at the time?
No.
Did you not know it?
No.
Did you hold any contempt toward it, considering its popularity, before you figured out that you were trying to that your girlfriend was trying to Harry Potterize you?
Yes. I hated
Interesting.
I hated it then. I loathed it immediately after. And then I believe during COVID, my wife sat me down and said, look, what's it going to take for you to watch these movies? Because I'm going to watch them.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy them. What do I got to do? So we made a trade. 8 Harry Potter movies for 3 horror movies of my choosing.
Has this been executed?
Yeah, yeah.
You watched the whole series?
I've watched the whole series. I like the Exarban one and the last
Azkaban.
Exarban, that's right.
Okay. All right. So you got over it. That's good.
Yeah.
Still questions.
Still stings.
We had to wake our writers back up. They've been on strike for 2 weeks now.
That's 2 strikes in a year.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Give them the leeway to do whatever they want. But they've kindly written up just a few questions for us on NFL reaction, overreaction as we head into week number 18. Josh, what are they?
Take number 1. Joe Flacco's Cleveland Browns can beat anyone not named the Ravens in the AFC.
Yeah, this is an appropriate reaction, Josh.
It doesn't feel right, but it's right. Right?
I mean, the way that the tier has worked in the AFC is, and I really believe this. I think it's Baltimore, and then a gap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could double the gap, whatever it might be, and then everybody else is in the same tier. I don't think that like we'll just all the playoff teams, potential playoff teams, even. Kansas City, Miami, Cleveland, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Indy, Houston, and Pittsburgh. Like when you get to Indy, Houston, Pittsburgh, that's maybe where you could be like, yeah, they're probably a tier down, right? And somebody's making the playoff out of, one team's making the playoffs out of that group. But the rest of them, they're about the same. Like, I understand that you like Buffalo more because of their potential, and I think that's fair. Like, if we're asking for the best possible AFC title game, it's probably Buffalo and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right?
Buffalo's a high ceiling, low floor team.
But
they could win any game they play, but they could lose any game they play.
Exactly. Can Cleveland beat Buffalo? Yes. Can Cleveland beat Kansas City? Yes. Can Cleveland beat Miami? Jacksonville? Yeah. Yes. Led by Joe Flacco.
I mean,
the Cleveland Browns can go to the AFC title game.
The Browns have already went into Baltimore and won a game this year, and that was with Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, can the Ravens lose before the AFC title game? Yes. It's not very likely, in my opinion. But in the meantime, the other teams, their path to get there, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be a favorite. I just don't know who the other team is going to be at this point. Next.
Take number 2, NFL reaction, overreaction. Who is the best threat to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC? And you can't say Brock Purdy. Shut up.
Thank you, writers, for mentioning that. Because I already heard a lot of you sarcastic people saying, oh, the best threat to the 49ers is the 49ers quarterback, Brock Purdy. He's mid. Or he stinks, whatever it might be on him this week. No, I actually think this is an overreaction. I think the Lions and the Cowboys are both game. I don't think they're on the same level, but those teams could both make that game competitive.
What? Just let me throw it out here. I'm not necessarily saying this as a take. Want your thoughts? What do you think of the Rams' recent little resurgence here? I mean, I know they play on Sunday, and that'll figure itself out. But
I think they could find themselves in a conference title game.
Rams seem to be figuring some things out.
Let me ask you a question about another team who's going to likely be in the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers. What do you think about the Green Bay Packers, Josh?
They're sort of figuring some things out too.
I
don't think they're wagging or anything.
We all made our declarations on Jordan Love, and we said, no, thank you. It's a pass. You could rethink it. You could take it back if you want to.
He's thrown 30 touchdown passes this year.
He might be good. He's definitely got arm talent. That's for sure. People get infatuated with that. People still making Harry Potter jokes, by the way.
Keep them coming.
We'll get to him.
You know I love him.
We'll get to him in a little bit. But no, I think San Francisco, like if you ask who has who has a tougher road to get to the conference title game between the one seeds, Baltimore and San Francisco, it's San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so. And that's a massive surprise from a month ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take into account what each of those teams are, but I just think the quality of competition in the NFC is better than that of the AFC. Not that Baltimore can't lose, but I'm just saying that's where I'm at. Next.
Take number 3. The Chicago Bears cannot waste yet another opportunity to take whichever franchise quarterback they desire with the number 1 pick. A little wordy, writers.
Are they gonna do this again?
They're gonna do this again.
We suggested it last year. Why not trade Fields and get more draft picks? And you could get your quarterback of the future. You could take him at number 1, and you could hold the keys to your franchise in your hands right there. You effectively get a reset when you draft a quarterback at number 1 overall. You get time that comes along with that. And all the draft capital that comes along with that, you could do it. They didn't do it last year, but they made an awesome trade with the Carolina Panthers.
Looks better by the day.
And and because of that, they get the number 1 pick again, even though they won 7 whole football games this year, and maybe another. They could have had the pick last year. They kept Fields. They could have had CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, whichever one you would have decided to go with. Maybe they would have screwed it up. Okay. Pass. We'll try it again this year. Will they pass on Caleb Williams or Drake May or Michael Penix, who might win a national championship? And can you look at yourself in the mirror at the end of this, if you do that and say, I passed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially franchise-altering quarterbacks to keep Justin Fields.
Deep quarterback class this year.
Right. Can you, because if you could stand by it, then great. I just don't know that you can. Like, I know the fans love Fields now all of a sudden. I think times are good at the end of the regular season.
They could mess around and win on Sunday and finish second in the division.
Right.
Like,
I still think he's not the answer long term.
I think
he's workable. I think you could work with it. I think you could obviously go 500.
The reports say they're going to keep Eberflus for some reason, which means the OC is getting fired.
Yeah, I just think you have the opportunity, so you got to take it. I trade Fields, get more draft capital, take your guy at number 1.
I would.
Once again, you don't even even if you do trade Fields, which will be worth a first at least, you could take that first this year, and it doesn't affect your ability to take the number 1 pick overall this year with whoever you want to take it with.
I mean, I think they could trade down to take that number 1 pick from Carolina, trade down to 3, still draft Marvin Harrison Jr.,
put him around Fields,
new OC, see what it looks like, and then
do it again next year.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just think if you're going to pull the plug, you got to pull the plug at some point.
Right.
You know, the draft capital forever. I'd trade Fields. That's just me. I wouldn't. I mean, doesn't feel like they're going to do it, but we'll find out.
Final take of the segment, I guess. The Chiefs are fixed and everything is fine. Did you see him win that game?
I don't know how anyone could think this.
They won that game. They have 10 wins.
They did win. They did also return a punt from the end zone, which is grounds for automatic cancellation in the NFL.
They kicked 6 field goals.
No, I think if you want a positive spin on what they did, I like the feature, Pacheco's back. I like the featured role for him, which is good. And obviously you came up with the one big one that Rashee Rice didn't drop. Congratulations on not dropping a pass. Chiefs wide receiver. But no, I mean, their problems are their problems. So if you're holding them to the standard of like, we have to win the Super Bowl, I just don't. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. At the same time, they could very well make the AFC title game, and whatever happens against Baltimore or whoever else is there happens.
They're not a players only meeting away from fixing the things
Exactly.
that are wrong on this team.
Their problems are their problems.
But I agree with you. They could still win the whole damn thing, and it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But
it'd be a hell of a deal.
bad vibes team
It'd be a hell of a deal if they did. They're not fixed. Everything is not fine. But you're in the dance, and you give it a go.
They should be terrified.
Aaron writes in on Fields.
Hi, Aaron.
Says Fields isn't getting a first. Most think a second or a third unless somebody is dumb. Report came out today. They think Williams is worth 2 to 3 first rounders. You can keep doing it. You resetting if you want. Give somebody Caleb Williams and just take all the picks and then flip one again the next year and just keep Justin Fields in purgatory forever and ever and ever.
You tell one of those crap teams like, hey, this is the ticket that'll get you Caleb Williams.
Yeah. But like I said,
give it to me.
You're gonna have to pull the plug at some point. Maybe it doesn't have to be now. It literally doesn't have to be now.
You could definitely write it off and say, well, he's kind of banged up this year. One great ride, bad OC.
Well,
you can excuse Justin Fields away this season.
And the positivity about doing away with Fields now is that it's not last year. His stock is high right now.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like he's an acceptable player right now.
You might crap out if you let him play another year.
Bang. Exactly. Right. So maybe it's time. We'll see. Thank you, writers. Welcome back. You're appreciated greatly.
Happy New Year, writers.
We'll be back with more next on 1620 The Zone. Speaking of the NFL, headed into week 18, playoff implications all across the board. Here's the deal with the FanDuel Sportsbook, which is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed, and all you have to do is place a $5 bet of any kind in the NFL. $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Once you get in there, you claim your $150 in bonus bets. You'll take a look at the app and you'll say, oh my goodness, there's so many opportunities for me to win money. Live same game parlays. You could even find bets in the new Explore tab, which you'll find bets from people all around the country. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub. So many things going on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer. Get yourself in on a new year, new you. Make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom. More with Conor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620 The Zone.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The back seat. Check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
We'll talk to our hoop sicko, Jacob Bigelow, in just a couple minutes. What's been going on in Louisville?
Pretty much.
Yeah, Kenny Payne didn't get fired. Also, Nebraska basketball. They decided to give up, 11 points in the first half and then 50 in the second half or something like that against South Carolina State. Nice job by them.
Totally normal.
Nah. Josh, don't have a Nebraska basketball take.
I don't.
Now is not the time.
No.
But tomorrow might be the time when they host Indiana. I guess it's hosting Indiana week at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Interesting.
I told you before the show, the one thing I did over the break, I think I left my house less than 5 times.
Nice.
Over this break that we had. It was really fantastic. But we had a basketball game on Sunday. Great crowd. I think there was 8,000 people there for the Maryland game. I think there's, we're gonna pack the gym on Sunday against Indiana. Jordan Hooper's jersey retirement. But I told you, I thought the Nebraska women, maybe a little better than I thought initially.
Figuring some things out.
Yeah, got some young kids coming around. Like a couple of lineups they've thrown out. They got a chance. It makes you feel something when they beat Maryland. Maryland, they only beat one time ever, and it was a total fluke game last year when they made 100 threes on the road. They never beat them in that building. Never beat them at home at all. On the women's basketball side, by the way, Creighton women tomorrow will be hosting UConn.
Ever heard of them?
Hello. 6 o'clock. That game will be airing right here on 1620 The Zone with Josh Peterson and Rob Sims on the call.
Wow.
Top 25 Josh.
Wow. Only call them out for the big games.
6 o'clock on 1620 The Zone tomorrow. Okay, one more take from the break before we get to Jacob. I guess we're on basketball, so let's do basketball. Creighton is fine. All right. Now, you got to adjust and you got to manage your expectations.
That's the big part.
That's the big part, and I know that's going to be hard for some people to hear. I know Nebraska basketball fans get really triggered when we talk about moving goalposts and things like that. So Creighton obviously had the thing at Villanova prior to us leaving, or against Villanova, and then they went to Marquette and kind of had Marquette in the ropes. Marquette started making shots, clawed their way back in, and
avalanche.
Yeah, it all happened to them. It's hard to say that, for a team with the expectations that Creighton has, that hanging with Marquette is kind of an accomplishment. But I just think that if you play out, the expected points or whatever it is, given all the stats and how Creighton got out rebounded and they turned the ball over so much, that game is probably not that close if you do it 10 more times. Right. So
right.
They got to fix the turnover thing. because they're obvious. I mean, they're totally undisruptive on the defensive end, with the exception of Kalkbrenner altering shots, which it's kind of worth a turnover for them in some regard if they can rebound the basketball. But if they're going to do anything, they got to start valuing the possessions, valuing the basketball a little bit more. When it comes to Creighton on offense, like in figuring stuff out, quote unquote, I don't have too many worries about that. I think they'll be fine. But the big picture is this. And they play tonight at Georgetown. They're fine. They're just they're just not that good. And that's kind of a hard truth to hear. And when I say not that good, that can mean a variety of different things.
We've thought this for the last couple weeks now, and it's sort of proven itself.
I think they are, and they will be, a fringe top 25 team for the remainder of the year. There's a difference
in 1 week, out the next.
There's a difference between what, being in the preseason top 10 and a Final Four contender and a national championship contender and what they are right now. I just don't think they're that. I don't see that in them. I don't see them, I don't see them making a run to the national championship game this year. With that being said, Georgetown, Providence, DePaul, St. John's before UConn, right? So you got a chance to rattle a couple off and feel good about yourself over the next 2 weeks here before the first UConn game on the road. But just personnel wise, I've said this, I've kind of eased you guys into it. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I definitely don't think that. And yeah, they've hit a bit of a rough patch, but just personnel wise, tip top of what it could be a pretty dang good team, on a good night. I haven't seen a good night in a little while. On a bad night, they're still not that bad. It's a good basketball team. They are, like I said, I think they'll compete for the top part of the Big East. They'll be in that mix. They'll be in that conversation. That's not changed from the beginning of the year. But I don't think they're a national championship contender. And if that hurts to hear, then man, we've advanced some time here in the lore of Creighton basketball. That doesn't hurt me to say out loud. Maybe it does hurt some people because your expectations got ramped up that much. I just don't think they're that. I think that's pretty clear.
What if they take a leap, Connor? Ever thought about that?
What do you mean?
What if the team takes a leap?
How would they do that?
Get better.
They could get better. They could certainly play a whole hell of a lot better than they're playing right now.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They played poorly in December last year. I don't know if you remember that, Connor.
They did.
No.
They lost 6 games in a row, Josh.
There was a big mountain man missing.
Yes. Shout out to Mono. And shout out to the schedule.
Yes.
But yeah, I think they're a good basketball team.
Schedule's going to lighten up. They should rattle a few off, and then gets harder on the back end towards the end of the regular season.
Creighton's fine. Take from the break. Creighton's okay. We don't have to panic about starting 0-2 in the league. They're going to be fine. They're going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. They'll take care of business. They still have a certain pedigree as a program. Are they a national championship contender? Close the door.
Ooh. Close the door.
Yeah, I don't think
Conor canceling Creighton basketball.
From a national championship, yes. From a national championship. Canceled.
Interesting.
Don't put that on any posters or anything like that. Any graphics. All right, coming back. Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated, also the Stretch Big Pod. We can go around the rim.
Oh.
Around the paint, if you will. We need a fun, fancy segment. You know how they walk the floor with any interview that they're doing in we need to do that with Jacob.
Around the world.
We'll figure that out. Around the world with Jacob next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Darian. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. If you're having a tough time or thinking about suicide, you're not alone, and there's hope. VA's Veterans Crisis Line has responders who listen and help. Many are veterans or have veteran family members and friends, so they're prepared to address your challenges. Don't wait. Dial 988, then press 1.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click Nebraska.beer to learn more.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
On top of being basketball sicko, you were also Kansas City Chiefs fan. So how's that going?
It's been an interesting season, to put it lightly. That Christmas Day game, I was watching it with my parents, and my mom just looked at me, and my dad goes, "Shouldn't you guys be pissed off?" And we're like, "Yeah, probably," but we just kind of sat there and took it. And then they decided to revert back to the Alex Smith era of kicking field goals and not doing much else in this most recent game. But they've won more Super Bowls in the last 5 years than I ever thought they'd see.
That's right. That is a good attitude.
Yeah, and then you're not going to win it every year, and still got a generational guy and wearing 15, and that's pretty cool. So I'm kind of
wow.
Obviously it's There's some glaring issues on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm not ripping out what's left of my hair yet. It's cool. It's cool. It's a roller coaster, but I'm still having fun.
What a rosy disposition. I very much enjoy that. You don't hear that a lot these days. We're like, you know what? We still got Patrick Mahomes, and we'll have him for a long time, and everything is okay until that day comes.
Kind of where I'm at, to be honest. I mean, I got told recently by one of my friends from high school who's a diehard Patriots fan. He goes, "You're the only actual Chiefs fan I know. Everyone else is a bandwagon, and they're giving you a bad name." I'm like, well, that's their problem. If they don't know who Brody Croyle is, then they're not a Chiefs fan. Exactly. They don't know all these other irrelevant Chiefs quarterbacks from the 2000s that I grew up with. I don't need to hear from them.
That's right. Good. Just live in your own world. That's fine. Root for who you root for based on your own personal interests. Let's go over to Nebraska basketball here, who did happen to play a game over the last few days. They played the first half, I guess, and then the second half, something different happened. So you're 11-2 going to the new year, and then tomorrow is a big one against Indiana. So far, I don't know that we've learned a ton about this team, but it's about to pick up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's definitely going to pick up. Indiana tomorrow, a trip up to Madison on Saturday, followed by Big Bad Purdue for a Tuesday night 8 p.m. tip on Peacock. So it's going to ramp up pretty fast, but that's what you get with the Big Ten. I'd agree that we've kind of got an idea of what they want to be. Have we seen what they want to be play out, completely? Not very often. So it's kind of, but it is still January. Nobody's really a finished product quite yet, but to be 11-2, at the turn of the new year, that's pretty good.
Oh, I think it's a pretty good accomplishment. I mean, you don't stop the season now and be like, wow, let's hang a banner for starting 11-2. But it's a really good start. They own a nice win against Michigan State. They own a nice win against Kansas State. They have a tough loss against Minnesota. But so far, you would have to say that it's been a success so far, and then you sort of start on the learning curve right now. How big is tomorrow for Nebraska basketball?
Tomorrow's pretty big. Indiana's they're in a weird spot. They've, for the school and the program with, the stereotype of, we got guys who grew up shooting threes off the side of their barn on daddy's farm. They really don't have guys who can shoot. Their guard play is suspect at best. Feel like Xavier Johnson's been there for 10 years. He's still there. He hasn't come back from an injury yet, but their backcourt's very suspect. They pound the paint. They've got a 7-footer in Kalel Ware, who transferred from Oregon. He's their leading scorer, and Mike Woodson said he never had anybody as tall as him when he was an NBA coach, and now he's got him at Indiana.
Really? Is that the truth? He's only 7 foot tall.
That's what Woodson said. Kalel Ware is taller than any guy he ever had on any of his NBA teams.
That cannot be true. That cannot be true.
I just say, you know what? I'm just quoting the man. That's all. He's a quote machine.
He is.
But so it'll be interesting to see. Indiana, nobody really knew what their expectations were before the season. Kind of mid-pack Big Ten, and they've kind of they had a game a couple weeks ago where it was their first game of the season that they made more threes than their opponent. It's because they made 3 and their opponent made 2. So they're soul searching right now, and for them to come into Lincoln on with the momentum Nebraska's got, crowd should be into it, and it'll be a good measuring stick.
What is the amount of teams that you would, and this is not like a question about necessarily about what Nebraska is or what they're going to be, but it's more of a question about the Big Ten. How many teams would you confidently, with space, put above Nebraska in the conference right now? How many are there?
Good question. That's a good question.
Purdue is obvious.
Wisconsin, Ohio State, Illinois is a big question mark right now with the whole Terrence Shannon situation.
Yep,
so
that situation changes in a hurry.
Yeah, so I'll put them over to the side right now.
It's probably, I think you mentioned the 3 that everybody would go to right off the bat: Wisconsin, Purdue, and Ohio State. It gets pretty murky after that. I could see Nebraska being in the mix with any one of those groups.
I agree. I mean, they beat Michigan State already. Michigan's a dumpster fire. Rutgers almost lost to Stonehill over the weekend. Iowa still doesn't play a lick of defense. Maryland's been a big disappointment. I mean, there's very muddled, murky middle in the Big Ten.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So that fun trip will basically begin tomorrow night at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Then you get a fun trip to Wisconsin and Purdue back to back is a tricky one, and then it gets a little lighter after that. So it's a big moment, I think, for Nebraska basketball as they start the new year. Is there anything else on your mind? We haven't talked. I know you've been sick basically for a week now. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yep.
Has there been anything else that's come across like sicko basketball style that you've been like, oh, this is kind of weird?
Not kind of weird, but I did call Will Wade beating Michigan. That happened.
Nice.
I did kind of speak that one into existence. The Juwan Howard era appears to be coming more and more to an end with each passing day.
Mm-hmm.
Florida Atlantic beat Arizona, but then lost to Florida Gulf Coast the next game. So that's just, college basketball is at a point where teams can look like world beaters one night and then look like the JV team the next night. That's a pretty prime example. That FAU Arizona game was one of the better games I've watched in a while. And then FAU now has two pretty big blemishes on their resume, two bad losses, but also got a pretty big win too.
Well,
but
how about
how
about Arizona too? After that,
yeah,
getting wrecked by Stanford.
Yeah, no, that was not expected. Stanford, that's a coach who is Teflon. He's definitely got more than 9 lives.
Nice.
In Jared Haas, he's been there way longer than he probably should have. And I feel like every year they pull a 5-star out of nowhere, and then that 5-star underperforms, and he's like, well, we got this 5-star. That player for them this year is Peja Stojakovic's kid.
Awesome.
He is on Stanford's roster now. But that was definitely out of nowhere. I mean, Stanford, if you care about Stanford basketball and you watched your arch rival in Cal hire an alum in Mark Madsen last year while you were still stuck with Jared Haas, you're probably feeling some type of way, but they'll also take a win over Arizona. So weird. Pac-12's in a weird spot, especially the schools that are coming to the Big Ten next year.
Okay, so you could speak to this a little bit. Like you mentioned how weird it is. We've seen some awkward results over the last week. I don't know that that's that crazy for where college basketball is right now. First of all, like you said, it's sort of thinned out, and maybe the tiers are a little bit closer than they have been in years past, the COVID years and all that stuff. But also, it's Christmas break, and the student sections aren't there. How difficult is it? You being a part of a couple of Nebraska locker rooms, like how difficult is it during break to get everybody on the same page?
Oh, it's definitely difficult. I mean, there are guys who want to go home to see family they haven't seen in a while. They want to see their long distance girlfriend. They're looking for any way to get out of town. And it's definitely, we still got a game to play. We still got a game to win. Like there's, it's always felt very similar around that time of year. And I'm sure it's pretty common all around college basketball this time of year.
No doubt. All right, Jacob, we'll let you go. Appreciate you taking the time as always. And we'll talk to you next week. Go ahead.
Well, I did want to slip one last thing in. Saturday, that Gretna game at the holiday tournament.
Yes.
That was one of the cooler things I've ever seen or witnessed in person. The Gretna community rallying around that team. The same day they lose their coach and Coach Feakin. And I never knew Coach Feakin personally, but a lot about the impact the coach has made. Talking to members of the community, former players, and the impact they have on a community. And you obviously could see that Coach Feakin had that on the Gretna community. And for them to win like that, especially I think they were 2 for 20 something until the last minute and a half of the second half. But they made those 2 when it counted, and for Landon Pekorski to hit that buzzer beater, that was one of the cooler things I've ever seen in any basketball gym.
Yeah, like when I saw it come across, I was sort of tracking it as the game went along because there was a couple people, including yourself, that were there and were tweeting about it, and it got closer and closer, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of know how this is going to go. So it was both surprising and unsurprising when Gretna won on a buzzer beater, but it was still one of the cooler things that I've seen.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And, that gym was full, and, people supporting both schools wearing green, for the people in Gretna. And, it was really cool. And now they play again here at a little after 5 against Central at Prep in the holiday tournament semis. And, those boys are giving the community something to rally around. And, for them to have that, during this time for them is pretty special. And, obviously, condolences and thoughts and prayers to that team and to the entire Creighton community.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Jacob. Appreciate it. All right, talk to you later.
Yep, thanks, Hap. Appreciate it.
That is Jacob Bigelow, the Stretch Big pod. Be talking Husker hoops throughout the entire year. Yeah, I mean, what a story. Like I said, sort of tracking the game as Creighton plays in the holiday tournament over at Prep against Papio South, and I'm like, they're going to play a game today, and they're going to play the game. And people in the community had heard about Coach Feakin and his battle with cancer, and the news that came out when I woke up on that morning, whatever morning it was, day before New Year's Eve, maybe
Saturday,
whatever day it was.
Time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle during break, and I'm like, oh man. And they come up with the statement right away. It's like, yeah, we're going to play the game. Like, all right, this is trending toward, another one of those high school unbelievable stories. And there you go. And I don't know if it ever made Sports Center or anything like that, but I saw people tweeting at Scott Van Pelt and stuff like that.
A lot of people sending it in for sure.
Best thing I saw. Crazy. I'm glad that we had all the local media that was there to like get all the different angles of that shot. Like that was awesome. There was I saw 6 different tweets, I think, of the last shot of the game by Landon Pekorski. But man, what a finish to that game, and
hard not to feel some type of way watching that video.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll come back. Thanks to Jacob for joining. Still some takes from the break, and a special guest who was at the Rose Bowl yesterday. No, not a guest on our show. A person who was at the Rose Bowl yesterday.
Kirk Herbstreit's dog?
Who is not Kirk Herbstreit's dog. Next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
What in the hell is the smell outside?
Yes.
So if
Great
you are
question.
just going outside
It's money.
this morning.
You know what that is? That's money.
No.
That's manure.
Hey,
you know.
You're in a gots-to-go situation, manure, because it's awful outside.
It is bad.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A bit more mild on Tuesday. Expect partly sunny skies with a west to northwest breeze, gusts around 10 to 15 miles per hour most of the day. Highs in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
The Conor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Outdoor Nebraska update. From wildfowl to owls. Great time of year to step outside and watch wildlife. Many animals are still active, plus the leaves have mostly fallen, vegetation is set back, and we'll have some warmer weather. Maybe you'll hike a state park trail or head to a public reservoir to do that. Oh, and don't forget your camera. Yeah, it's on your phone. I'm Greg Wagner.
We're completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Churco. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. From fresh pastas handcrafted daily to house dry-aged steaks and focaccia bread baked daily, Churco is perfect for date night or any night. Churco features crafted unique cocktails as well as an extensive Italian and American wine list. Churco, located at 192nd and Q and CIRCOOmaha.com.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Setting a new workout goal? Post-workout recovery is a lot sweeter when you fuel up with rich, delicious Highland Dairy chocolate milk. Packed with the nutrients you need to re-energize, including protein, calcium, and potassium, chocolate milk is a tasty treat at the end of your hard workout. Find a money-saving coupon at highlanddairy.com/chocolate. Highland, locally made, naturally delicious.
All right, there was a special guest at the Rose Bowl yesterday. Conor Stallions.
What?
Conor Stallions, who has been publicly ousted from the Michigan program and been referred to as a rogue actor in Michigan's explanation of how and why this cheating scandal could have happened. He was at the Rose Bowl. He was photographed on Chase Winovich's Instagram.
Oh wow! Their Action Network just tweeted out 2 seconds ago.
And he was wearing a rose
lei.
Rose petal rose petal lei.
That's not how that works. But
on his neck, and he is bald now. I don't know what he's trying to do there. Wearing a Michigan hoodie and just enjoying some football at the Rose Bowl.
Looks like he's in, I don't know, I'm going to call that the second row.
Yeah. Either way.
How do you get such great seats?
It seems like he has a really close connection with the people in the program, and they seem to like him quite a bit. And it seems a little maybe a little ridiculous that nobody knew who he was or what he was doing. Maybe.
That's who you're rooting for, Nebraska fans.
That's it. That's your guy, because he represents the Big Ten Conference, and we love the Big Ten Conference, don't we?
Root for my conference.
Jeez.
I put on for my conference.
Get a grip, everybody. Speaking of my conference, take from the break. The Ohio State rhetoric needs to stop. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What is the Ohio State rhetoric?
The Ohio State rhetoric is that Ohio State is dead and Ryan Day needs to go. And
because they lost a meaningless bowl game.
Right.
And only scored, 3 points?
So we already knew how dependent they were on Maserati Marv this year. They don't have him and a replacement quarterback. And we're shocked. We're for some reason surprised when they only score 3 points. Ohio State has never been the team that, without their best players, can just bowl over actually good competition with a pulse. Who wants to be there? When they get into games that are, I don't want to say equal from a talent perspective because they're not, and a bunch of opt-outs, but when they get into games that are pretty close as far as the perception or the talent is concerned, they have to play real football, right? They're not that much better than everybody else. I don't understand this with them. I don't understand why we're trying to fire Ryan Day.
The Cotton Bowl meant the world to Missouri, and it meant nothing to Ohio State.
We could do that. We could do that too. But there's a perfectly reasonable explanation of why they didn't win the game or why they didn't score very many points. It's because they didn't have their best player and their starting quarterback. And those are two different people. That's it.
But I was rooting for the Big Ten.
We have to fire their coach because of that. We have to fire their coach because they lost to Michigan. Calm down. Ohio State's fine. Stupid.
They are fine.
Speaking of bowl games, another take from the break. Opting out of bowl games, as I talked about in the crossover. We totally jumped the shark on it. We got fringe draft picks opting out of bowl games for God knows what reason. I don't know what's going on.
I'd like to hear some reasoning.
Joe Milton, I'm looking at you. Why are you opting out of the bowl game against Iowa? You're not going to get drafted in the NFL. Nobody cares about what Joe Milton does. He's opting out of the bowl game to prepare for his NFL career. Why? This happened a handful of times. I think people are just opting out of bowl games to be cool. I can't think of another reason why.
I don't want to go to work today. I'm not going to work.
But like, why would you not want to? I cannot get that through my brain. The only thing that I could think of is that it's become so cool to be able to be the person to step up and say, yes, I'm opting out of a bowl game.
Notice me, look at me.
It's like a trend. It's like a TikTok trend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the grimace shake.
Okay.
Poll question: is opting out of bowl games kind of like the grimace shake?
Up at Happer's show.
Yeah, get that one going. And then, as far as the games themselves, which we've done a lot of complaining about this bowl season because it's obvious that people don't care and they've been watered down. And by the way, did you know? Here's a little question for you, Josh. What is the longest current running sponsorship between a sponsor and its bowl game? I know the answer. I'll wait for your response.
I do not. Let me. I want to go quick, but I do want to take a moment and think about it.
Because the way that I always knew it was the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and it was the Outback Bowl, and it was the whatever.
Okay.
I had all those down, and then our brains have been completely erased over the last 5 years. We've changed almost all of them.
All State Sugar Bowl?
No.
Okay.
That
Close.
one is not that. Let's see. I was curious about that one too. It's not. I know it's not the longest because there is one that is longer. Let's see if we can get a Sugar Bowl history here. The sponsors.
2007.
That's pretty long.
Yeah. I feel good. I feel good about my guess.
It's a good guess. It's probably second, to be honest with you.
It was Nokia before that.
The Nokia. Yeah, the Nokia. Who could forget about Nokia as a company? The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Oh, really?
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Now, the Peach Bowl has taken on greater significance since the College Football Playoff has come up with a New Year's 6.
2006. Oh, I'm sorry, 97.
97, yeah. That's what I tracked it back to anyway. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Congratulations to them. Riley has one. Is it the AutoZone Liberty Bowl? When was the AutoZone Liberty Bowl?
That's kind of where I thought you were going with it.
I could have and should have looked further into this, but I just found that Chick-fil-A was the longest.
AutoZone 2004.
Getting close. But other than that, they've all been scrambled around a million times. We got a mayonnaise bowl. We got a Pop-Tart bowl. We got a Cheez-It bowl.
They're selling Dukes now at the stores.
I love it. We're dumping Duke's mayo on everything. The broadcasters are eating mayo during the game. But we do a lot of complaining about these games because nobody cares and everybody's opting out. A lot of these issues that we've complained about for the last week or so, they kind of go away next year with the 12-team playoff, because what happens is those New Year's 6 bowl games that didn't make the cut for the College Football Playoff for the last 10 years, they take on enhanced meaning because they actually are a part of the College Football Playoff again beginning next year.
Yeah.
Georgia, Florida State doesn't happen. Next year, that's a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. The Alamo Bowl is going to be the biggest non-playoff bowl game, and
right, or the we always get an Outback Bowl, or something like that, whatever it might be.
No one's caping up for the Alamo Bowl to matter.
Right. So those are the games that people are going to start opting out of, and we're going to adjust our thinking on this because now it'll be about making the playoff. It won't be about winning conference championships or the bowl game that you get to. Sorry, the Big Ten and the Rose Bowl. Maybe they'll figure out something with that. But the Rose Bowl is going to be a playoff game now. It's about making the playoff. And so the games, that'll give us 12 teams, a bunch of good football games. And outside of that, it'll take on a little bit less importance. And we'll see opt-outs in those categories. But the places where I got the most mad watching bowl games this year were the Orange Bowl, where it was a complete disaster and everybody opted out of it, and the one with Tennessee and Iowa,
Cheez-Its.
Like, come on, what are we doing? And that was basically just because of Joe Milton. I've focused all my anger on the opt-outs at Joe Milton this year. But New Year's 6 games that were supposed to matter, and it's supposed to mean something to play in them, we got people opting out of them because they're not part of the college football playoff. I got a solution for you. It's called a 12-team college football playoff, and it starts next year. Breaking news.
But there will be occasionally a group of 5 team that gets trounced.
Yeah. There's going to be some blowouts.
But they earn the right to be there.
Riley has Riley's done some
digging.
The AutoZone Liberty Bowl was founded in Philadelphia in 1959. The inaugural game featuring Penn State and Alabama began the tradition of 64 football chapters of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Football Classic. No way it was AutoZone in 1959, right?
No, it was St. Jude from 93 to 96.
Okay.
AXA Financial 97 to 03, and then 2004 to the present AutoZone.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Was this also 1997? That's what Hockey Dad is saying.
No way. That feels
that's
like
pretty new bowl, isn't it?
Well, it was. I mean, it goes back to being the Humanitarian Bowl in the 90s. It's been the Idaho Potato Commission's Bowl since 2011.
All right. Well, we could track back all these bowls and their histories, and it's actually might be good for a spreadsheet. Who knows?
Ooh.
We got to start getting into our bag over the next couple of weeks, Josh.
I love that. I love looking up those old sponsorships, though.
Quick call here from Doug on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hey, Doug.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Good to hear you're back.
Thanks. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, I think I said this before, maybe on your show, but like any team should be allowed to play another game after the season ends, especially with the playoffs. I mean, the Bulls do generate, those extra games generate TV revenue, which is great. And if a team thinks they can set up a TV deal with somebody, play it at home, play it in Lincoln, Nebraska against Northern Iowa or something, let them do it. Because, it's basically like another mini spring season for all those teams that didn't get to the playoffs, and especially next year. And then you have guys, like you said, opting out and, not showing up or whatever. So just call it exhibition mini season or something to let any team that wants to. And if it's a bowl game, great. If they want to go to a bowl game, but if they want to have like a home game, do it. If they can schedule somebody and get some TV to cover it, I mean, that's just more money. So, I mean, what's really the reward for being like a 500 team? You get 5,000 of your fans get to go someplace, and the stadium's completely empty. I mean, the stadiums and fans being there is basically irrelevant. It's the TV money. So just let anybody do it, and some people will get that privilege, and some won't. So.
Thanks, Doug. You make a good case, but I hate it. I can't. I hate it.
I guess go ahead.
On principle, I hate it.
Don't ask me to care about it, even if Nebraska's in it, I guess.
No, if everybody's playing a bowl game, then we're already diluting them enough. They're already diluted. I think that's Doug's right. That's Doug's point. They're already super diluted. Why not just let everybody play in whatever game they want after the season? That would have some unintended consequences, in my opinion. You'd have like teams that were making the playoffs be like, yeah, we go get more money on our own if we go play in this exhibition game because we sell it to the TV network because we're Alabama.
The rosters would be wild because who would play in it?
I just hate the idea on principle because I like games when they mean something from like the establishment of what football games are supposed to mean. I can't think of a better reason outside of that, Josh.
Doug made a good case, though.
He made a fine case.
Very persuasive, Doug.
Oh, they would make money.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. They'd sell them to television networks and they'd be fine. So he's saying in lieu of bowl season, let teams play whatever game they want, and the teams that make the playoff make the playoffs.
So, okay, I guess
I just like the idea of a bowl being a gift for your playing well during the season. Now, I understand that we've totally diluted that by the fact that we have crap-ass 6-win teams in bowl games. But,
unintended consequence, I guess. What if, let's say, Oklahoma, a big, sexy brand, finishes 13th in the college football playoff rankings? Do they say, no, thank you, we will not go play in your Alamo Bowl. We will host South Dakota State at our home stadium and make our own money?
That would suck.
Like, yeah.
That would suck. It'd be good for the schools, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be good for money.
Money, which is why we root for the Big Ten.
Yeah, money. I hate it on principle. I make a good case. I just don't like it on principle. That's all. All right. We'll come back, pull questions, tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Outdoor Nebraska update. It's hunting time in the Husker State. For a safe season, remember to be totally certain of your target and your background before you fire that shot. In a moment, ask yourself, is the bullet flight path clear? Is that a legitimate target? And what am I going to hit if I miss my shot? Please be careful out there. If you'd like more information on hunting safety, go to outdoornebraska.gov. That's outdoornebraska.gov. From wildfowl to owls. Great time of year to step outside and watch wildlife. Many animals are still active, plus the leaves have mostly fallen, vegetation is set back, and we'll have some warmer weather. Maybe you'll hike a state park trail or head to a public reservoir to do that. Oh, and don't forget your camera. Oh, it's on your phone. That's right. I'm Greg Wagner.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
More questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Our hats, a dime a dozen. Yeah, I mean, you know how many hats I have? I have so many hats.
Yeah, I got a lot of hats.
I don't wear any of them. I wear like 3 of them.
I don't know why Gary could not have gone back and gotten that Lincoln Stars
He's
hat.
still holding a grudge about the Lincoln Stars hat from decades ago.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sometimes people take your clothes. Who cares? They're clothes. Hats are a dime a dozen. 59% say yes. Just 59 though. Our limo's cool.
I got to know how this one came back.
It is 2024. Our limo's cool. I'm going to still say limos are cool.
I'm going no.
It's certainly lost its luster.
Yeah.
I'll say yes. Limos are still cool. We are pretty much dead even. Wow. 51, currently just leaning slightly to no. But that's by a vote or two. Does Dave Chappelle know what Culver's is?
I just think there's no chance.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Although Gary, he does live in small town Ohio.
61% say no.
Okay.
Couple more. Is Frank a tall person's name?
Most voted on poll question of the day.
Is Frank a tall person's name? Who proffered this?
I believe this was Gary. Many people sending us gifts of Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, whose character's name is Frank.
We got one about for Frank Solich too.
Oh, yes.
Notoriously not tall.
Not tall.
I don't think so. I don't think Frank is a tall person's name. I know a tall guy named Frank. 71% say no. And finally, is opting out of bowl games kind of like the Grimace Shake?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. 83%. Oh, we're down to 75 on the latest update. Are saying yes.
All right.
Those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We are watching the NBA Bulls Sixers, 6 o'clock on NBA TV, followed by Magic Warriors at 9 o'clock. College basketball tonight. Creighton at Georgetown. Respect to Ed Cooley.
Please.
6 o'clock tip on CBS Sports Network. 5:30 pregame right here on 1620 The Zone. So you got a shortened Grum.
Yes, by a half hour.
Yes.
I believe the Jays are 12.5-point favorites, which seems
I don't know how Ed Cooley's got them playing, but the roster can't be good yet, right?
No, they're not there yet. Yeah. Georgetown 178 currently on Ken Palm, got blasted by Marquette, lost to Butler in conference so far. I don't know. 12.5 on the road still seems a little heavy.
Feels heavy on the road, yeah.
It's the Big East. It's Ed Cooley.
Yeah.
There won't be anybody there. They play consistently in an empty building.
Yes. People forget.
I don't know. Creighton needs to get the job done tonight.
Yeah.
They need to win. Otherwise, things are going to get sideways.
Little get right game here, hopefully, even though it's on the road. FS1 has Big East basketball as well. 5:30. DePaul at UConn. It still counts as Big East basketball, despite what you may be saying to yourself. Number 1 Purdue at Maryland. 6 o'clock on Peacock. Why does Purdue always play on Peacock?
Purdue Heart Peacock.
They're the number 1 team in the country. Iowa at Wisconsin. 6 o'clock on BTN. That's a much better choice, BTN. I understand they might not have had first pick on BTN, but back-to-back, those look odd. Women's basketball, Michigan State at number 4. Iowa, Caitlin Collins goes for it on Peacock at 8 o'clock.
Who's Caitlin Collins?
Didn't you hear somebody running for public office went in like, oh, I'm going to get them to cheer for me and want to vote for me because I say Caitlin Clark. But she went out there and said Caitlin Collins.
Oh, no.
Good job, politicians.
Interesting.
When pandering goes wrong.
I'm glad you didn't mention which one because we're not a politically slanted show.
I forgot which one.
Okay, good.
I think it's the one who runs ads on our station.
Oh!
NHL doubleheader on Hulu. Capitals Penguins at 6:30. Blue Maple Leafs. Right city, wrong team. Against the Kings at 9:30.
Did you watch the Cracktown?
I was locked in on the Kraken yesterday.
You have gone this entire show, by the way, without mentioning the whole rock thing too.
Oh yeah, I know. I got takes.
I apologize. I never gave you the platform to do so.
That's okay. We got plenty of time between now and whenever. We can talk.
August, maybe. Yeah. All right. College World Series. Hold it for that.
Okay. Night Court returns to NBC tonight at 7 o'clock. Season 2. As Dan helps out Roz, they find themselves pleading their case in front of Abby. I don't know who a lot of those people are.
Dan, Roz, Abby.
And a new game show on Fox tonight at 8 o'clock called The Floor. Conor, let me know if you are interested in this. 81 players face off in duels on a giant grid of squares representing their own field of trivia expertise. Rob Lowe hosts.
Seems a little busy.
Lot going on there.
81 people.
81. Feel like we could have pared it down. Maybe chop that in half.
Maybe get to like 6. Okay. No, but let me know in a couple weeks if it's still on the air.
If it's still popping.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Conor.
That is what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee, since 1972. Post Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is